Hello, and welcome back to the Contraband, where 6 Shakespeare actors play Blades in the Dark. This show is produced by Ghostlight RPGs, a collective of theater artists keeping the lamp lit even when theaters are dark. If you like what you see, feel free to follow or to subscribe. I am Ted Bushman, Game Master. Joining me on this tale of bravery and bravado, falsehood and fealty, treachery and truth are Jamie Hansen, Ben Isaacs, Kristin Perkins, Graham Ward, and Carson Wright. And that's when the big applause happens in the chat. If you could just drop a little applause, thank you, that would be great. It's been 2 weeks, and we know that the news cycle has passed us by. So let's remind everyone of who we all are. Introduce yourselves briefly. Jamie.
Hello, I am Jamie Hansen, he, him, playing Varric Lomond, also he, him, the great Duskfall hunter of all creatures. Definitely well prepared for this journey out into the unknown. Will not get killed, for sure.
He certainly is. Benjamin Isaacs.
Hello, my name is Ben Isaacs, or Benjamin if you've known me for a while, or whatever. I use he, they pronouns. I just like them all. I'm playing Hix Templeton, who is the strange, bohemian, bootless and loving it spider of the crew.
Love him. Love him. Love you. Kristin, go forth.
Hey, my name is Kristin. She, her. I play the girl, she, her. Either nameless or many named, depending on how you feel about it. And like the lurk of the crew with a mysterious scar or tattoo or mark on the back of her neck. What? So excited to go over the wall.
Yes, very exciting. Graham Ward.
Hello, I'm Graham Ward. I use he, him pronouns. I'm playing Borden, the ample-shouldered, ample-muscled cutter who...
ample-tempered.
I don't think he has ample temper. I guess it depends on how you use the word. Bram is a loose cannon with a disaster of a life, and apparently children yelling in the back of his mind.
The ghosts of children screaming in his mind.
That's actually accurate.
Pretty accurate to the character. For those tuning in, this is in fact the actual Graham Ward and not his son. So Graham has shaved his beard.
Oh, I get it.
Yes, ha ha ha! You're just so youthful. I love it. All right, go forth, Carson.
Yes, I'm Carson Wright. I use he, him pronouns, and I play our crew's leech, Aldo Basran, who is a former military medic, doctor, turned all kinds of curious, exploding drugs, whatever you need. He's gonna find a way to manufacture it, probably, or, procure it, mess with it. I've been a little bit interested in ghosts lately. I don't know what's going to happen in the Deathlands. I'm not really sure. Very scared.
We shall see. It will be very fun. As in all things, I feel like all of our characters are interesting variations on the tropes. The spider you'd imagine being the sort of like edgelord in a black cloak with eyeliner. Ours has less eyeliner and more rainbow mascara. You think of the brutish cutter. Instead, we've got a political dissident. You think of the like uncaring, inhuman leech. Instead, we've got the motherly influence of Aldo on the group. Very sensitive,
motherly,
very sensitive and thoughtful. And so on with our defies all possible expectations lurk and slide nobleman as liar. It's just great. I love all the variations. It's great. It's such fun.
Leave it to actors to play opposites.
Yeah. Yes, I love it. It's so exciting. So some of you may be tuning in after a break. You may not be totally caught up. So a little recap. For several months of in-game and out-of-game time, our scoundrel friends and their fledgling gang of smugglers have tried to take their place at the top of the heap of Duskfall's criminal underground. And Bram, at least last session, also tried to take his place on the stage of the Velvet Patchworks. After their forbidden performance, he was able to declare the word "yay" before he forgot the line and got back off. But in a time of growing political unrest between labor and the powers above and multiple factions within the city, the smugglers have taken ambitious jobs from surprising clients. They created a supply line of Quicksilver, a ghost-powered drug, from the Railjacks to a theater troupe. They courted masters of the occult and shadowy collectives of the uber-wealthy. But their exploits have drawn more and more attention. The city's elite law enforcement and the spirit wardens and inspectors have made moves against them. Criminal rivals among the Red Sashes, the Ravens, and a new group called the Greycloaks pay close attention to them. And more powerful and influential than any of the others is Rufus Engim, the chairman of the board of the Ministry of Preservation, who attempted to squash the crew in order to exert his power over the Railjacks and the city's shipping lines. Attending a masked ball at Felmore Manor, the crew received a commission from a woman they know only as the White Stag from the mask that she wore, who requested that they find a way to unearth some of Engim's crimes and humiliate him in exchange for a great sum. She suggested many possible locations, but the crew has fixed their eyes on the Hawks End Depot, a secretive ministry facility about 50 miles from the city, guarded by its own dome of lightning and purportedly hiding a lab where anti-ghost weaponry is being developed. And to get there, they've decided to join a party of Deathlands hunters headed out into the transformed and brutal wastelands of this broken and strange world. The crew is about to take on one of its most daring scores yet. Tonight we'll see how it goes. Content warning. The Contraband is a crime drama set in a dark and unpleasant city. Episodes will almost certainly contain strong language and violence, and may occasionally also include sex, destruction of government property, self-sabotage, complex discussions of the meaning and worth of names, and encounters with the gruesome undead. So, step through the Deathlands Gate and descend with us into the Contraband. Girl, you feel a warm hand touch the back of your neck. This is Theodora Keltry's hand. Your hair stands on end. She is pressing her fingers against a mark on the back of your neck, the one you've had as long as you remember. It is a blue-black tattoo of an unfinished circle, muddy and imperfect. You're standing in a cold library in a soggy old mansion in Six Towers, and on the wall before you hangs two paintings. One, a landscape of the Hilltop District, which is now the Lost District, and on the other, a portrait of a beautiful pale queen, whose identical tattoo is visible in the mirror behind her, painted onto the portrait. The woman standing next to you asks, "Where did you obtain this symbol? Do you know what it represents?"
I don't know a thing about it.
"I was surprised to see that you carried it when you and your friends visited," he says mischievously. "And I wondered if it would bring you back without those men from whom you keep so many secrets. I'll admit I was hoping that you could tell me more. But I can share with you little of what I can. You see, Queen Kyathel, there in the portrait, she was one of the earliest rulers of North Hook, this land that became the seat of the Akarosi Empire and is now this city, Duskfall. In the days of Kyathel, Hilltop District, now the Lost District, was Duskfall's center. The old castle, Caer Umbran, was where the House of Sapphires held court. She, it is said, was a powerful whisper, a personage who knew much of spirits and secrets. This was in a time when ghosts were rare indeed, only seen or interacted with by the truly gifted." She runs her fingers along your neck as she steps closer, observing. She's right behind you. You can't even see her. She says, "There are many stories, mostly false, that intimate the nature of her knowledge and power. There are hints and poetries and hopes. But this symbol is not associated with the House of Sapphires, at least not exclusively. Not only with her, but with the deepest and most powerful secrets of whispers. The unfinished circle, the snake that devours itself, the broken moon. There are many names for it. She's close enough that you can feel her breath on the back of your neck. I've seen some who tattooed this symbol on themselves, hoping to conjure the power of the old ones. But they've been clear attempts, imitations. Yours is the only one I have seen that rings of the genuine article. She steps around to where you can see her face. The smell of her perfume fills your nostrils, and her bright green eyes lock onto yours. Her shoulders are bare, the lines of her clavicle dramatic in the light of the gas lamp. I must know, if you come seeking information, you must be honest with me. Are you certain you do not know how you obtained that mark?
I don't know anything about who I am. I speculated it was a scar from a childhood injury. I thought maybe an abusive foster parent hit me with something hot, or when the roof collapsed at the orphanage. I thought when we delivered these paintings, it was the first I'd seen.
Make a roll to try and convince her. This can be a consort. I mean, that's probably going to be the most likely one, but if there's something else you feel fits for it. She seems unconvinced. Not willing to be convinced. Uncertain.
So 6.
Okay. She says, incredible. You came back here. I wish I knew more to tell you of it. It's such a curiosity. The symbol is not only on individuals of the family in some representations, but also inscribed on their books, and in particular on their ritual tools. There is one other place that I've seen the symbol that we have wondered about. If you look at the maps of the Lost District, there is a hilltop, one of the many hilltops in the district, where there was once an orchard, a place where tall willows grew. From above, on maps, it carries this same shape, a circle, nearly entirely closed. Of course, the Lost District is far too dangerous for even me and my sister to attempt, but it might be a place where you could find more answers.
Do you know anyone who's tried?
A few. Only one who's come back. An elderly woman, but I'm not sure how much she could effectively communicate to you.
Who?
Come with me. She steps out of the study and starts to head upward. You came in when you originally came into this building through like an attic space. She leads you back up into that same attic and lights a candle. And you can see in one corner of the room where you didn't see her, there is an old woman sitting in the pitch black darkness. She's wearing a very worn blue dress and a shawl, and is sitting, just staring out into the darkness. She's sort of mumbling to herself.
I turn to the Keltry sister who has led me here. What's her first name again?
Theodora.
Which sister? She's Theodora.
Yeah.
Who is she?
She's a friend of our family's. She was called Eleanor in the day, but she does not answer to that name now. She has been here for some time, but does not respond to us.
I'll take steps forward to the woman, kind of haltingly, like quite hesitant. but eventually kneeling down in front of her. And does she react at all to my presence?
You're not touching her? Anyway?
Not yet.
Just like near to her. Yeah, sure. She at first, just sort of continues staring off in the direction she's staring. Her hands are shaking a little bit. And then like the reaction that you sense, actually, she starts to smell and then turns a little bit in your direction, still not looking at you, but just sort of her head turned in your direction.
I'll put my hand on her knee gently.
She grabs it. Very quickly, very hard.
I'm trying to jerk away, just from like the startled, like
yeah,
just from being startled.
Make a how is like let's make a prowl to attempt to get out of her hand.
Sure. 5.
Okay, great. So yeah, you pull back and she sort of her hand is pulled away. It's not a very at first it seemed a very powerful grip, but it's clear that she's kind of a pretty frail old woman. But she eventually she sort of presses her. She pulls her hand towards you and presses it against your shoulder, and grabs it and said, "They're waiting for me. They're waiting for me."
Who's waiting for you?
Oh no. Defenders or destroyers?
Ghosts? Spirits?
They're all spirits. Yes.
I'm like looking back for help and then looking forward. Like the girl clearly doesn't know exactly what to do or say.
Yeah.
The Lost District. You've been to the Lost District.
I'm still there.
I'm gonna sweep my hair to the side and turn my neck in such a way that she can see the symbol.
She'll look at it. The gate. No.
Gate, what gate? Please.
She starts mumbling back to herself again. She seems disconnected.
I'm gonna take her by her shoulders and try and like force her to look at me. I'm like, I need to know. It is exhausting to not understand this.
Theodora will put her hand on your shoulder as you're doing this, and you feel an energy pulse through you, similar to when a ghost is near. Theodora is aiding you. You can, if you would like, use a die from her to attune.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Can I also push myself if I don't have any die of my own?
Yeah. So you have one die from her, and you could push yourself to get another die.
To get 2 die. Yeah.
Mhm.
I will do that.
Okay.
Okay. 6. I'm doing great tonight.
Yeah, you're killing it. So
well, hopefully not, but
yeah, so you feel this energy, like all of your touching her in the physical world feels like wrestling a hanging silk sheet. I mean, it's just so you can't interact with her. But as you attune, you feel this rush of energy, and suddenly it's as if the two of you are standing in front of each other, and as if she's totally sane and there and present with you. And the old woman looks you in the eyes, and takes your hand, and then turns and looks over her shoulder, and you find yourself in a beautiful garden filled with flowers at the top of a hill, and you are standing underneath a willow tree, a familiar willow tree. And you look down a long avenue of flowers towards a white gate at the end of a garden, and there is a man standing there. He is translucent. He is a ghost, but he has but he's standing on 2 feet, unlike most ghosts who sort of are spectral beneath. He's standing there looking at you, and she says, "He's waiting for you." You will gain, there is a clock that I believe Bram has, which is what waits on the fog-wreathed hill. You'll gain 3 further progress in that clock, which I believe takes you from 2 to 5 of 6. I'm not sure if it was a 6-part or an 8-part clock. But we can, I don't know. If you happen to have it, Graham, great. If not, we can just...
I think it's 6. 6
Great.
part.
Great, cool. So you're at 5 of 6 in the 6-part clock.
Does the man look like anyone familiar or like family resemblance of anyone?
Ooh, yeah. He is... He's a tall man with very sallow features, clean shaven, very short hair. He appears to, like, some ghosts still have the appearance of spectral clothing. He also has that. There's no immediate resemblance, but the eyes. He looks at you in a way that seem a little bit surprised, as if he knows you, as if he recognizes you.
I'm gonna take she's holding my hand, and I'm gonna try and pull her towards the man, and I'm gonna try and move quite quickly, a fast walk.
Yeah, great. You can make another attune roll if you want.
Okay. Do I still get
you have the 1 die from her still? Yeah.
Okay. I'll just do the 1.
Okay.
4.
Okay. Yeah. So you walk toward you start walking very briskly towards him, but the old woman seems frightened. She seems nervous. She's like, "No, wait, we don't know. You don't know," and she yanks back at you, and you find yourself you fall backwards onto the wooden floor of the attic in the top of the sisterhood's house. Theodora says, "Oh, are you all right?" And she picks you up off the floor.
Who was he? And I'm looking to Theodora, and then I'm looking to the old woman, like, who was he? Who is he?
Who? Theodora does not appear to have been privy to the vision that you experienced. Then the old woman is back to staring at the wall, muttering.
I'll turn to Theodora. Does she have the... And I'll point to the back of my neck.
You're asking about the old woman?
Yeah.
You're able to go around. Her hair is cut short. You imagine that this is probably work done by the Keltry sister, because the woman might be just in her confusion, might be ripping her own hair out. So they cut it very short. She's the back of her neck is blank. There's nothing on it.
How do you get to the Lost District, Theodora?
Well, either through the Deathlands or the most easiest way would be through one of the gates. But of course, they're guarded, not just by bluecoats who guard most of the Deathlands gates, but by spirit wardens. They don't want anyone to get in there. It's a deadly place. I think you can understand I would want to go there as much as anyone. My sister has tried to keep me from it, and I was as interested as you many a time, but it's not something to be done lightly.
I would rethink that statement. I don't think you want to go there as much as anyone. And I don't think you're as interested as I am.
Perhaps not.
You've been quite helpful, though, and for that I thank you.
I hope that if you learn something, I would love to learn more of it. But, of course, this is your own journey.
Are you offering to come?
I don't know. If you decide you are going to go, you can. I would like to hear of it, but I'm not certain.
Oh, I'm going to go. I'll let you know before I do. And with that, I think I'll start to walk out of the room.
Okay.
And then I'll turn around at the door and say, actually, do you have like books or anything, like other information I could use? Dramatic exit ruined.
Yes, but like, wait a sec. Let's make another roll to see if you can convince her of giving stuff. Consort
this
probably is the right one.
Okay,
It's
consort.
probably the one I would use. Yeah, I think that's the tone in which you're using it. A
6. Yeah.
Woohoo! She gives you a map of the lightning wall into the Lost District. So this indicates what the which there are 3 Deathlands gates that lead in from different places, and this has some information about them, as well as the spirit wardens who guard them. So this would be very useful in planning a visit to the Lost District. So,
Okay.
yeah, I'll note that so I don't. Yeah.
Cool.
It also has a map of what the Lost District was at one point, trying to. You might have a sense of what at least was the case before it collapsed 20 years ago.
Okay.
Cool.
Cool.
All right. Welcome back after a 2-week break with that big ol' that big ol' awesome. So I'm going to really quickly throw something else at you. So Varric, you were summoned several days after to the Meroden estate. 5 days before the date they gave you for their Deathlands hunt. Do you bring anyone to the estate when you visit?
Yes.
Gosh.
Yes, I bring Hix with me.
Okay, great.
Let's go.
If you wish.
I would love to. Yes, of course.
Wonderful. You are invited into the house. There are numerous carriages outside the estate, and you hear his voice even like 10 feet before you're even in the front door. You hear him like laughing brightly, and you hear his big meaty hand clapping someone on the meat of their shoulder. It's just like, this is the whole life of Brace Meroden, just burgeoning out through the windows. When you arrive, the salon is full of crates and canvas luggage, the accoutrements of the hunters. There are servants swarming, getting things ready, bringing them to Brace for inspection. He stands in the middle of it all like a film director, just like taking things and saying, "Ah, yes, perfect." And then, no, this won't do it all. And clean this rifle again. You also see several other noble folk here. There is a married couple, Lord and Lady Strath, who are both tall with sort of long, sallow faces. They greet you coolly. The Lady Strath says, greets you and says, "Oh, we'll be pleased to see you more at the hunt when that occurs." And the husband, who's sort of looking at something, kind of grows, says, "Certainly," nods at you and sort of waves you away. You see also the cantankerous Leon Vorian, who he's around 5'7", older man with graying hair and a thick beard, and he's got a lot of high-quality gear. He scowls at you and says, "You're the new one for this hunt? You say you've got experience?"
Oh, I've dabbled here and there. I mean, out of the country, so I'm looking forward to this opportunity, actually, quite a bit.
Oh, yes. Tycheros, Brace says.
Yes.
Well, we'll see about that. I told Brace I won't go into the Bone Hills with someone I don't trust. So I hope you prove yourself on the first day. He stumbles off. Not stumbles. Stomps off.
Hold on, that guy's name is... Tell me his name, please.
His name is
I would love to write it
Leon.
down.
His name is Leon Vorian. Vorean.
Leon Vorian.
Yep,
Love it.
Leon Vorian, which sounds like a shitty elf city name.
Oh, Ted. No, it sounds like a cantankerous hunter man who needs to be who isn't going to take anyone's word for anything. Like the only one with any
Indeed.
actual
Who needs to get shot in the leg and left in the Deathlands?
Oh, you're picking up from Hix, man.
The reason I brought him along.
Leon.
Yes, wonderful. The last one you see besides Brace is a tall and smiling fellow. He's both bald and beardless. He has a monocle. He says, Master Lomond, yes. I'm Nathan Chasuble.
Oh.
Tell me, I would love you. Oh no, go ahead, sir. Please, after you.
Master Chasuble, it's a pleasure, sir.
Oh, of course, yes. Tell me, on our last hunt, my rifle was destroyed by a beast. I'm purchasing a new weapon. The gunsmith has recommended a rolling block carbine with a rifled barrel. However, Sparkwrights have been developing faster pistols, which they refer to as semi-automatic. The likelihood, however, of jamming is quite high. I've heard, do you have, given your experience in Tycheros, do you have a recommendation?
Of course I do. You know, we have to look to the future to really see how hunting is going to be done from this point on. I feel that these Sparkwright inventions are going to revolutionize our time there. You don't want to be out there slowly reloading your single-shot rifle, not if there's a horde of, well, you know. I would say the semi-automatic, the pistols, yes.
Let's roll a consort and see
Yeah,
how
yeah.
this goes. Or a sway, if however you want to play it. You're trying to do it genuinely.
You're bullshitting. You are straight up bullshitting.
Oh,
Roll sway.
yes.
Or roll
I mean,
consort with reduced effect. That's what I say.
Let's sway it up and okay, that number is going up. Nope, that went down. Okay, 4.
All right. Yeah. So, Chasuble says, I've always said innovation is a necessity in all fields. Meanwhile, across the room, Leon goes, "Old ways are best," and he he has this big what the heck is it called? The shotgun when you break it open, and he has one of those.
Oh yeah.
A break action.
Breach
Yeah.
load.
Yeah. There you go, breach load. Yeah, pulls that back up.
As little as Varric knows of these things. So.
Yes. So I'm going to say that with a 4, we're going to start a clock called, let's see, what is this clock called? It is called The Hunters Are Impressed. It is a 6-part clock. It just went up 1 and down 1 from the 4. So you're back at 0. So, yep. You're all set. So
Easy come, easy go, I suppose.
indeed, you notice in the center of this space, with all these bags that people are packing up, there is a large covered bird cage, and every few minutes or so, there is an ungodly screech from inside it. It's covered in cloth or in canvas, but sometimes it shakes enough to nearly fall off of the table. Do you, either of you, interact with it?
No.
I walk up to it, kind of. I look for a seam to peer around and look inside.
Okay, fantastic. Let me roll a fortune roll. Okay, so yeah, just as you open it, a skull of a bird comes forth through the bars, this beak connected to just this bare weird skull, and the dark sockets of the skull have these little blue lights in them, and it just at the cage opening. It's the bird's head is rather large. You open it up, and a hand comes and just boom, slams the beak back into the cage. Brace Meroden pulls the canvas closed and says, "Oh, not exactly the time for that, my dear boy. How are you?"
Ah, Brace, you are a gust of fresh air in an otherwise dull and dingy room. How are you, sir?
Goodness gracious, so good to see you, my friend. I like this hat that you've got.
Oh, well, never one to miss a costume change.
Yes, indeed. It's quite fashionable. It's the type of thing they were wearing about 40 years ago. Just wonderful, wonderful.
But, I always say there's no point in trying to march too fast into the future. The old ways are sometimes best.
Hix does not laugh. Ben laughs. Hix is agreeing.
Yes. Brace nods semi-approvingly, says, "Who is your friend?"
This is my companion, Hix Templeton.
I see.
Clap
Yes.
his hand. Not say much of anything.
I imagine everyone in this crew you've brought is bringing their own entourage.
Of course, yes. I was going to ask. You had told me that there would be 5 in your party. I assumed that means 2 noblemen hunters and your servants, yes?
Yes, quite.
Wonderful. And Mr. Templeton is your butler? Your aide?
No. I had my upbringing in Brightstone, but left for a long time. I'm coming back to the city. Coming back into these circles. I've been otherwise engaged in other affairs, but I feel like I can hold my own among your hunters. And Varric was kind enough to think of me. I'm a fair shot and eager to see the Deathlands for myself.
Mr. Templeton, in the rush of my preparations, I of course forgot how familiar that name is. I've heard it many a time. A noble name of old Duskfall. Forgive me my assumption. It is that of a man trying to manage a large expedition, but it is our honor to have you on board with us.
Pleasure.
Yes. Now, just giving you the sense of it, as we've discussed, we will be having a 3-day trip. We'll be heading out. It'll take us a day and a half or so to reach the Bone Hills, where we're seeking our quarry. We'll have a hunt the first afternoon, most likely. We're meeting at the Deathlands Gate on the Mist River, on the east side. Yes, so first we'll be hunting a few death hounds, just getting the sense, getting to know you in our rhythm. Lord Vorian has requested that we get to know one another through a simpler and smaller hunt, primarily, and then we'll go after our true quarry, of course.
Excellent. I don't want to wait too long for that. Wasting time with small game.
I know. It's quite disappointing. These people, everyone's a little bit too concerned with their safety protocols and all that. Now, with this, you're aware, of course, how Mr. Templeton, you've spent some time out there. You're aware, of course, of why the Deathlands are replete with monsters, yes?
I haven't the slightest idea. My attention has been on other things, and I've never studied it. Do you care to enlighten us, Brace?
Well, I'll only give a small portrait of the events. As you know, as anyone knows, when the breaking occurred, the sun cracked, and much of its light drained away, and this is why even the brightest day now is still rather dim, comparatively. But the rest of the world changed too. The sea, once as green as Lady Strath's eyes, darkened to the color of ink. The days became grim and cloudy. But living things changed as well. Before the breaking, birds were glorious with color, hogs were red as blood, and hounds came in a multitude of hues. Even inside the lightning walls, beasts have been drained of their color, but beyond the wall, they are stranger still. They are monsters, not quite living, not quite dead, not quite ghost, but not quite corporeal. It is a strange amalgam, but for us, it is a great opportunity.
Opportunity for what, would you say, Brace? What do you hope to gain? What compels you to return again and again to the Deathlands? Have you something to prove to yourself, perhaps, or to others? What? I turn and inspect the room, gesture to the other hunters. I'm like, what is it that brings these people out? What keeps you going back?
A good question that you ask. Well, for many, of course, it is the bravado of accomplishment, bringing back of a trophy, a sense of bravery. I know myself as I am, Miss Templeton. I know myself a coward. Life is a terrifying thing, as are the Deathlands, and when I step out into the darkness, I am terrified. I know that. It is not for others that I go, but for myself. I wish to step and face the thing that terrifies me. I wish to look it in the eyes and see if I survive. And if I do not, well, it is fun in the process.
You can put a couple of ticks into the Impress Hix clock that just got started for Brace if you want.
Great.
It's like a 50-part clock, perhaps.
Yeah, it's a big one. Yeah.
Also, the whole time Brace has been describing this, Varric's been getting paler and paler.
Oh no!
It's like,
Yeah, well, that's good that you say that, Ben, since, Brace is essentially now my player character.
Yeah, of course. He's great.
Especially for this session. So you are here. Basically, if you have any clarifying questions about the nature of the expedition, you can ask those here. You'll get more information as you get further. But any other questions you have, thoughts you have about?
I'm interested in. Yeah, I'm interested in talking to Brace about where I could acquire a firearm.
Yeah, that's great. So yeah, he points out a few stores that he thinks are particularly good, mostly in Brightstone, but there's a gunsmith in Night Market who he recommends as well. Yeah, that's his general recommendation. He also says, and of course, if you need a weapon for the duration, I could of course give you one of my own.
I appreciate that, Brace. Do you have anything I could take today? I'd love to practice.
Oh, certainly. Let me take a look. He offers you 3 options of possible guns that you could take. One of them is a long-scoped single-shot rifle that hits like a truck. It's single ball bullets, pretty old-fashioned. So you're going to have to reload after every shot pretty significantly. There's also a smaller gun that doesn't hit so hard, but has a huge clip of about 12 shots. And this one is pretty good at really good at close range, and also can be fired. It's a lever action, so you could fire it pretty quickly. And then the last is a 2-barreled, whatever the breech loading shotgun.
Well, Brace, these are fine pieces, of course, and anyone would be honored to use any of these, but I think I'm looking for something a little bit different. I'd hate to borrow your piece and develop a relationship with it and then have to give it back to you. So I think observing these pieces, I think I'll go search for my own. Thank you very much for your generosity.
Of course, yes. And Mr. Lomond, do all of your company they have Deathlands gear, correct? You've been tanning hides, perhaps, or getting bones for them. Yes.
Yes. Of course we do. Yes.
Very, very good.
There are some slight variations. They do it slightly differently in Tychros, so it might not look entirely the same as your materials, but I assure you, we've got everything well at hand.
Good. Glad to hear it. All right. Well,
may I just ask one thing? Master Vorian.
Yes.
Over there, yes. The old Vorian. He's how many times has he been hunting with you?
Leon hunted with my father. So it's more the question of how many times I've hunted without Lord Vorian than with.
Mm-hmm. He's quite capable then.
Oh, certainly. One of my oldest friends. And yes, you'll find him a bit abrasive, but it comes with the territory of passion. Some people can be overzealous in their passion, sometimes to the exclusion of others.
Of course. I shall not hold it against him. And I look forward to showing him my mettle.
Yes. He does have a bad leg. Either you not mention it to him or bring it up, but it's he was wounded about 10 years ago.
Oh dear. Yes. It's a terrible shame. I shall say not a word to him. But...
Good.
Well, I believe it concludes our business for today.
Good. Be on with you then. We shall see you in 5 days.
See you in 5 days. It's the East River.
Yes, indeed. So he sends you out. Great. You head on your way. So we are still in downtime. You have a little time before this score begins, but you have a moment for a few downtime actions you might have, or scenes that you might have with people. So let's first ask Aldo and Bram. Do the two of you have any downtime actions you're hoping to do, or interactions that you're wanting to have?
I have some harm that I would love for Aldo to look at.
Of course. Yes.
Maybe in the course of our continued conspiracy wall planning, Bram will, just show you he's got a bruise from Marlene, which is level 1 harm, and then I've also got a shock. I think I got electrocuted in a fight a couple jobs ago. That's still bothering me.
Sure. It could have been the one with those big old electro soldiers, but maybe not.
I think it was since maybe.
Because it started as a level 2 harm, maybe, and it's dropped.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Potentially. Oh, yes, well, of course.
Just, let me know what you think. If you can give you an ointment or something like that.
Of course. In fact, I've improved it slightly since last time. He's like slathering it on, kind of pushing into it, like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
When you say you've improved it, it doesn't actually make me feel any better.
Well, I take some offense to that, Bram. Of course, I would only do the best. Give you the best. I would only put the nicest things on your body.
Sure. I just, normally when a doctor applies the ointment, he doesn't qualify it.
Well, that is true, but most doctors are lying, so what can I say?
You cheeky bastard.
I will roll for you. It's a 5.
Okay, that's 2 ticks.
Okay.
How many do you get with your powers?
I have 1 filled in already, so I'm 1 off from being healed.
Rats.
You could always spend a coin for an additional downtime action, but I don't know if you guys have much left after.
Bram has never had much coin. Ever.
I think Aldo sits there and actually looks at it and goes, actually, I thought that would work quicker.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it'll work. You improved it, so
Yeah.
Soon enough, I'm sure we'll see an effect.
Okay, I'm sure. He's like jotting down some notes and he'd taste some of it.
What the fuck are you doing? I'm gonna go get a second opinion. And I go to the bar.
That's the second opinion. Great.
Yeah. Nice. Perfect. Great.
I'm out of downtime actions, so I'm pretty much ready.
Great.
Feeling loose.
So, Hix, do you, there's an abandoned house in 6 Towers where you've been having some meetings recently. Do you head back there to meet your friend Wilkes?
No, I don't think so. I think I'm going to meet him on the street outside his home. He's
Okay.
walking.
All right. Yeah.
I'll just be walking. I'll perhaps be carrying some flowers.
Yeah. Yeah. So you like stand out on this street just for a few minutes, probably not very long, in front of this kind of like ratty townhouse in 6 Towers, sort of run down, and then like it's attempting to be a fixer-upper, but it's not fully that yet. And eventually, Wilkes Danbury, blue coat officer, steps out. His mustache is a little bit longer. He's kind of, he's waxed it a little bit. He's getting himself. He's looking a little bit nicer in terms of grooming than previously. He comes up to you and says, "My son saw you. Is there something that you would like to discuss?"
Yeah, Wilkes, you're looking good. I just wanted to say that. You seem to be coming up in the world a little bit. That's good. I have something for you.
Yeah.
You're familiar with the gang called the Ravens, formerly called the Crows?
Yeah, I know the Crows.
Are you familiar with Lissa, their leader?
Yeah, we've got a profile on her. She's she's really aggressive. As
Oh.
we haven't had a lot of presence in Crow's Foot for the last few months because of her.
Right. Right. Well, I have a plan, Wilkes, where I'd like to put her in a little box and give her to you, specifically you, Wilkes, to take to your boss, Andre Moreland, and send her upriver to Ironhook. We have a plan in place to, I think that we can get her to confess to several of the things that the Ravens have done over the past several months, ever since we began our work. All I need is for you and some of your men to come to this location. I'll hand him this piece of paper. On this day, she's going to be there negotiating a protections contract in Silkshore, making a move on the Red Sash's territory. And in order to get an idea for the sort of work that she and her gang have done before, her new potential client is going to ask her to prove it. And if you and some of your men are there, I think it would be a good time and enough evidence to put her in Ironhook for a good long while for the actions of the smuggling crew that has been working under her direction. So, I'll see you on that night, Wilkes. Pleasure to see you again. I hope your boy remains well. And I'll just turn and walk away.
He looks down at the paper in disbelief as you leave. You sort of steps after you, but stops himself. You see him sort of going back and forth between this look of like, just having been handed the golden tickets to his own promotion, but then also the suspicion of what does this mean for me and my future and my relationship with this man. So with that torn sense, he walks back into his home, looks both ways as he closes the door and lets himself back in.
Great.
Awesome. You giving anyone those flowers?
No, they're for me. I'm taking them home and putting them in a vase.
Wonderful. Beautiful.
I mean, I do have intentions of going to visit Eckerd, actually.
Oh, yes. All right. Yeah.
So I'll visit Eckerd and knock on his door, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, you head to the little chapel at the southwestern edge of Charter Hall. I feel like more than any other location, I always specify where this church is. I don't know why I do that.
It's great. No, it is helpful. It really is helpful for me.
Yeah. But yeah, so I just like the idea that it has these nice views of the river next to the cemetery. Yeah. But you go up to the house, knock on the door. A voice says, "All the slabs are full right now if you got a body."
I have a body, but not to lay on a slab.
What? Comes to the door and he goes, "Hix, come in. Yeah, inside."
I'll come in. I'll say, "Hi, Eckerd. Are you busy right now?"
No. Come in. No, of course
Great.
not. Yeah. Closes the door behind you. There's
how you been, buddy?
Same bullshit. So you look at there are 3 slabs in here, just like big old tables, and there are 3 bodies laid out on them. Just the couple old people and one younger man who are all dead. One of them's a docker, it looks like. Yeah, just a bunch of dead people. The docker looks sickly. It doesn't look like there's wounds. It looks like he got sick and died. Eckerd goes to a little bucket that he's got, pours out a little bit of water, washes his hands. He's got this like little grate, so he pours some water in, and then it like drains out slowly through this just like piece of stabbed metal, essentially. Washes his hands. Aldo doing all right?
Well, he seems to be much improved, yeah. Who can really tell?
Yeah.
You can't really believe that guy. Whenever you ask him how he's doing, he always says good before he even thinks about it. I'm not quite sure how to...
Yeah, it's good fucking luck with that. It's About
Yeah,
10
it's
years.
all right. I
worked
mean,
with
I'm
it, but
not. I'm not
yeah.
making a project out of it or whatever.
Yeah. And how are you as the crew? You still working for that lady in the white mask?
Yeah, still working that. We're actually going to be headed to the Deathlands, Eckerd. I'm hoping that, Ted, actually, just a question real quick.
Please.
So,
Yeah.
as far as Deathlands, like equipment in order to survive out there, can you give me the lowdown on what we're looking at? We need to be tanning hides for some reason, and I hear that there's like poison gas or something. I think in the like just in my reading in the book. But can you just give me the lowdown on what exactly we might need? And really, my question is, do we need to acquire those assets?
Yeah, good call. So yeah, let's make a study roll given Hix's probably lack of total knowledge about it, and this can even be him getting the information from Eckerd.
Okay.
Yeah, so it can be a study, that can be a survey, however you want it to be. Consort, you play it.
Well, I rolled study already, and it was a 1.
Okay, awesome. So here's what you
totally safe. Seems fine.
Yeah, the Deathlands is great. People love
I
it.
checked the weather forecast.
Pack a swimsuit.
It's
What
just
you-
a trick. They just don't want people going in because they have so
it's
much
a
fun in
lie.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
It's
a
too great.
lie.
Here's the thing that you do that anyone would know. The most iconic image of people who interact with the Deathlands are Severosi Deathlands scavengers. The Severosi culture, they're from something akin to a Mongolian horse culture, and have the strong history of being able to survive in the Deathlands. And the iconic image of them is wearing animal pelts covered in bones. That is the classic image of them, and it seems from Brace's description that might not be just aesthetic, that there might be something useful about having coats or clothing made out of the bodies of dead animals. Why? Who freaking knows?
Right. Do we need to acquire those assets?
Yeah, I think it wouldn't necessarily be immediately obvious to get them. It is possible that, Brace could have some extras, like he's like, I got some ski pants in my basement kind of deal.
So when we told him that we didn't need it, we lied.
Kinda, yeah.
All right, cool.
I assumed we didn't. I saw your face. I was like, no, fine.
Great. Good. Well, yeah. Great. Okay, cool.
But in
well,
talking
I
to
am in
Eckerd-
the wrong. I'm talking to the wrong person, perhaps, but perhaps
Yeah.
not. So
Well-
I'll just Eckerd. Have you ever been to the Deathlands?
Why are you asking?
Because we're gonna go, and I want to be ready.
Sorry, you said that. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, a lot of the Unity War was fought in the Deathlands of Catalan, so obviously different from ours. But yeah. So I've fought there.
I see. So, I've heard this thing about these pelts and these bones that one must wear in the Deathlands. Can you give me a little bit of knowledge about that? What's the situation there? Is it important that we get this stuff? Can we do with it? I came here because I need you to help me find a huge gun. You seemed like the right person. I don't know if you want to let me borrow your rifle. Yours is nice. You seem sort of like attached to it, and I don't want to ruffle your feathers. I'd like to get one like that, or I don't know, maybe borrow yours. I promise to take good care of it. I'm a good shot, but I don't know. I need to really, the main thing is we need to be prepared for this, and if there's preparation that we need to make aside from rolling in there strapped, then I'd like to know.
Yeah, let's make a preliminary to sort of consort roll and see how amenable he is to helping you out here. I'll give you an increased effect since you've got this friendship.
Oh, I rolled a 3.
Okay. Yeah. So here's what I'll do. So he'll say, with the gun, he immediately seems pretty hesitant, but he says he goes to this like slanted little like room of his, reaches under his bed, pulls out this old like suitcase that has the army's symbol emblazoned on it, opens it up, and pulls out this cloak. And it's sort of Severosi in the style of like it's made out of an animal hide. There are bones attached to parts of it. He says, and he has two of them, and he says, "You can take both of these.
Thank you.
This one will fit Aldo."
Okay,
Um,
great.
yeah,
He's coming too. So that's great.
Good. The gun, I don't know if it'll. She's a bit complicated, so I don't know if she'll. I want to help you, but
Yeah, I know you
Yeah.
are. It's okay. You are.
Yeah.
You are helping me. It's okay.
So I don't understand all this, but you know, basically, the reason that you wear this is that ghosts and things in the Deathlands can smell living things. They can smell them from hundreds of miles away. And everything alive has that smell. The things in the Deathlands, they aren't really alive. But the only way that you can keep yourself from being found is to mask that smell as much as possible. And so that's why people wear dead things.
I see.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay,
so-
that's really gross. But okay, good to know.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. So, and also, the more alive you are, whether that's just having strong feelings or I think that will make it easier for them to sense you. So, yeah, if you've got trance powder or something, we used to take it before we go out.
Oh no, I want to be sharp, and I like attracting things and people, creatures
Sure.
of all kinds.
Yeah. Anyway.
But thank you. These cloaks, I think, will be really helpful. And, there are members of this group who seem to be half dead inside, so perhaps they won't be quite as tasty smelling to the
Yeah.
critter.
Yeah, maybe not. You don't need someone else, yeah?
No.
Okay.
It's all right, middleman. I have something planned, though. I need to be going. I have my next thing I have to get to, but I do have something in mind for you, and that big old gun of yours. So stay tuned.
All right. Well, you come by when you need me.
I will. Thank you,
Good luck.
Eckerd. It's good to see you. Thank you.
Yeah, good to see you too. Good luck with everything.
Great. So does anybody have any coin at all so that we can acquire more of these cloaks, or
I can
we
have
spend
coin.
it?
I have a lot of stash, so I can
Oh,
pull.
you can liquidate.
Yeah, I can.
Must be so
Uh,
nice.
I mean, that stash is useful. That's his
Yeah.
future.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I guess I'll just talk to Varric. I'll just be like, Varric, so I didn't want this man loaning us his gear. It seemed like bad form. So, but I don't have any money to buy it. I talked to Eckerd and he gave me these two cloaks. One apparently is a perfect fit for Aldo. Hilarious and kind of cute that Eckerd knows that. But we need 3 more. So
Just a short.
I know that you have some money, and I think it'd be cool if you bought the crew some clothes so that we don't attract all of the monsters in the world and who will come and devour us, your friends who you're inviting out to the Deathlands. What do you think, man?
Well,
Spend a little, get a lot back. Seems like, I mean, we're working this other job.
Yeah, no, I think not dying in the Deathlands is a positive that I would like to achieve.
Great.
I'm
Me
gonna
too.
sort of open my purse, and you can hear like money jingling around. It's gonna be like, I don't know. I'm not sure. I've got quite enough. It might be a bit of a stretch, but I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can pull together.
All right. Yeah. I mean, no pressure. If you don't get it, I mean, the worst that could happen is that one of your friends will be torn limb from limb by a horrible monster that may turn to you, draped in death or not. So, I mean, but no worries. I mean, I'm happy to give up. Like, I was planning on wearing this cloak, but I'm happy to give it to someone else. I mean, if this is my time to go, then it seems as good a way as any. Seems kind of exciting even, and I'm gonna get a hold of a big old gun and maybe take a few of them with me. So, I mean, but, you know, if maybe you're worried about dying, you might want to get one of those.
Yes.
All right, cool. All right, looking forward to it, buddy.
Yes, me too.
So one option to just throw at you, Varric, is you do remember that the maimed Leviathan hunters haven't been sent out on a downtime action.
Ooh, right, yeah.
They could go do it, and you could spend the coin if you need to improve the tier of the stuff in order for it to be high enough quality.
Seal corpses, like a tauntaun.
Yeah, cool.
The big yapping jaw.
I will go and find Tormas and tell him what I require.
Tormas.
So
Is there a clock? Sorry, is there a clock for Tormas's love?
Yeah.
Going?
I believe there is. I think it's an 8-part clock, and there's 1 dot in it.
I thought it was like steps until Tormas strangles Varric. I thought that was
That's
the
another
We're
clock.
getting into
It's an
lightning
8-part
again.
with 7 ticks in it.
Yeah, very close. It's constantly at the verge of tipping over. Yeah, wonderful. So yeah, you actually, the place that you find the Leviathan hunters is there is a hollowed out sort of empty tavern that like didn't fit the standards of like city what is it, hygiene for restaurants. It wasn't actually that, it was they couldn't pay the bribes, but it's been emptied out, and the Red Sashes gave it temporarily to Hix to use as a staging area for this big sting involving Lissa and everybody. The maimed Leviathan hunters are involved in renovating the place, so they're like using all their skills to like clean this up. They're putting some varnish on this like garbage old table and getting all set up to like sort of seem like a bar. They've got all these like empty bottles that they're cleaning them up and putting fake labels on them to like put into the racks to make it look like there's actually a lot of alcohol here. So anyway, that's where they're all working. And you know, Arisha, like as you walk in, Arisha starts to say hello to you, but you like walk past towards Tormas, who's like putting these bottles up on top of this thing, and as you greet him, says, "Yeah, of course. What can I do to?" Oh yeah, what's up?
Tormas, old boy. Have you got an evening free in the next couple of days?
You taking me to dinner?
Oh, I hadn't occurred. I suppose I could.
Please don't.
No. I was actually rather hoping you could acquire something for me.
Well, what is it?
Well, you might not have heard, but we're taking a little sojourn into the Deathlands, and turns out it's rather inhospitable out there, and we're rather in need of some protective gear. So if you could just find some animal hides and some bones and assemble them into some sort of rudimentary outfit. 3 sets of it should be enough for us. As a good chap.
So, tell me, you're going on to this job in the Deathlands, and where anyone could die at a moment's notice. And
Yes.
if you don't get these cloaks, you're not going.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Oh. I knew you were a reasonable man, Dormus. This tension between us, I can sense it's melting a little. I'm gonna sort of lift a hand up to like clap on his back and be like, yes.
Yeah, his like mechanical arm. As you get close, he like presses something, and it just like like electrifies a little bit.
Well, Yes, I'll come collect those.
Right. Yeah. Sorry about the arm. That just happens at random moments. You never can predict it.
Oh, of course. No, I remember the arm. Yes. Well, carry on with the good work. Arisha, good to see you. I'm gonna stand in the room and like look around at everyone working using their hands. Like,
Love it.
time to go.
Yeah. Great. Tormas, a couple days later, Tormas rolls a 6. So you that means it increases in tier by 1. So it's already, so because you are tier 2, when you roll an acquire asset, if you get a 4 or 5, it's the same tier as your crew. And if you roll a 6, it is your crew plus 1. So these are tier 3 gear, which was the minimum required level for them. Because otherwise they just wouldn't be effective. So yeah, there's some seal hides that they've repurposed. There's some pretty wicked looking bones built onto them. I think maybe Tormas have them like, so they like have initials on the back, like a sports jersey or something. So you've got like the V for Varric, and yeah. Anyway, just like made in bones. I don't know. It's so stupid,
But you love it.
But I love it. I'm really into it. I think it's very silly, and I'm happy with it. So what? That could be a joke or real.
These are remarkable.
Yeah. Yeah, try it on. See if the fit's good.
How do I look?
It needs to be taken in at the waist a little bit. Can I just get it for 1 second?
Oh, sure.
And you kind of get the sense of Tormas actually kind of cares about the quality of his work with these a little bit. So he sort of sews them up a little bit better, and it's like kind of like a tailored fit of this Deathlands jacket.
Almost. Have you done this before? You're very, very good at it.
Well, he looks at you for a second and goes, "No, of course I fucking haven't. No."
All right. My mistake. Sorry.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you need a job that actually involves piloting a boat or something that we do, let me know.
Of course. Yes. Carry on the good work.
Yeah. Great. All right. Take care. So, all right.
With that man.
Yeah. So, anything else that you guys are doing? You now have all of you have Deathlands gear.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Yeah, you're all prepped for your journey.
We all look like seals.
Yeah.
Not the Navy kind.
Not the Navy kind. Yeah, they're basically like big, like sort of robe coats that can close at the front. They have got a hood you can put on if you want. But yeah, the vest like they don't have like long arms or anything. So it's probably just over the sleeves. So yeah.
And our cohort, the Leviathan Hunters, they're not coming with us, I assume, because we'd have to gear them up and everything. However, we can sort of like use them in some ways, right? When we have a score.
Yep. You can flashback them in. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. We could leave that open. I mean, we could also just like instruct them to have kind of a, I don't know, like a rescue prepared in case we come running back toward the city and need help immediately.
Cool.
Yes. Good
Very
idea.
likely.
Yeah. Love it. Yeah. That's great. So you also have a bit of information about Hawksend Depot. There's a thick envelope that Bram probably got a hold of one day from Kirill. For maybe his butler brings it to him. It's got a white wax seal on it, sort of cream-colored wax seal with the symbol of a stag on it, stag's head. It contains in it is information about Hawksend Station. So you learn that the station is protected by a lightning dome. So this is sort of a newfangled technology where not only is it vertically protected from the sides, but also the top of it is protected. There are 2 small outer gates on the dome that lead from the facility into the Deathlands, but they are very rarely accessed, and really the main access point is through a rail line. So it's connected to one of the rail lines that leads eastward out of the city. So it's a secret stop that normal passengers don't stop at. Only specific trains stop there, and there's only one car on the train that exits onto the depot. So it's only allowed for specific ministry employees to get on that. So there are basically 3 ways in. You could be on the train. You could get onto the station nearest it, try to get onto the correct carriage, and get to that entrance, or get in through one of the Deathlands gates from the Deathlands into the facility. So yeah, that's basically the information that you have about it. So you also know that its location is about 5 miles south of the Bone Hills, the region where you will be hunting on your second day. So there's a possibility of being able to leave during the hunt or something that could get you into the depot.
And as long as we're doing maps, where is it in relation to the Lost District?
Yeah, so Duskval, the Lost District is connected to it here.
Yeah.
And then it's a pretty long distance. The train heads this direction southeast, and the Bone Hills are here. So it's not really the kind of thing you could do all in one trip. So.
Oh, no. I would just...
Sure. No, that's a great question. And sorry, I know that me doing this with my hands is not a very effective map. I will send an actual, I'll get some sort of general regional map at some point. But yeah, the Lost District is essentially, just a little blip on the edge of it because it used to be part of the city.
Yeah,
so.
Just to gaze wonderingly at.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, no question. Yeah, you actually will be able to see it to the north of you as soon as you exit the Deathlands Gate. So are we about ready to go?
Sounds that way.
Okay.
I think so, yeah.
So
can we take a little breaky break?
Yeah, I was gonna get us right out of the gate, but we can take a break now. That's perfect.
Let's go out the gate, Ted. I mean, if you got it planned. I mean, I know that sometimes, Ted, you blow past the hour and a half.
I absolutely do. Thank you
got
for the
some
reminder. I appreciate that.
needs over here personally that I'd
Listen,
appreciate attending to, but I don't want to mess up with your narrative.
He's the czar of
I don't want to call
breaks.
equity on you.
Yes,
Exactly.
absolutely.
I'll call them. They'll keep the rules.
So you leave. So you head east on the Mist River. You maybe take the Rough Penny and end up across on the east side of there. You walk up onto a beach. There's actually a stone dock. This is like a well guarded and well taken care of Deathlands Gate. There are many such gates. They are nominally all owned and controlled by the Crown, and they are all supposed to be staffed with bluecoats or inspectors or spirit wardens. But some of them are controlled by other groups sort of through slow accumulation, bribes, all sorts of other things. This one is essentially privately owned by Brightstone nobles. It is a place that they can pay a sort of central committee of nobles to get in and out of the city at a price. So it's pretty exclusive. But also, if you're a Brightstone noble, yes, it's a way to get out of the city. But also, if you do, every other noble in Brightstone is going to know that you used it. And so it's not terribly secretive. But so this is a perfect space for these hunters who have no interest in hiding their activities, but just want to get out into the thing. So it's well maintained. There's a lot of, there's some noble people. They are armed and do have armor who are protecting it, but young men from different noble houses. You see your 5 new hunter friends: Brace, Lord and Lady Strath, Leon Vorian, and Nathan Chasuble, of course, the unforgettable Nathan Chasuble.
What was the name of the couple?
Lord and Lady Strath. We don't have their first names as of yet.
Great.
Her eyes are green.
Yes, her eyes are green. That is true. You meet them by day. It's actually morning. It's about 10 a.m., but it is as dark as if it were the middle of the night. There are above you. It's pretty dark clouds over Duskfall at the moment. The hunters are gathered there with 3 carriages that are built for use in the Deathlands. These are extremely irregular carriages. They don't look normal at all. They're significantly larger than most carriages, large enough that essentially it's more like a train, like a small train car than it is like a carriage. There are also no animals pulling them. There are coal engines inside each of them, and their wheels are not separate. They are on treads like a tank. All of these carriages also reek. They smell absolutely terrible because you see that they are covered in curtains of flesh and bones. So they're just these horrifying looking, disgusting smelling things. The 3 carriages, one of them, Brace and Lord Vorian are in. And then in the other two are the Strath couple and Lord Chasuble, and all of them have their servants with them. And the third one is all gear and servants. So you're greeted warmly by Brace, who greets. Sir Lomond, Mr. Templeton, and who are your aides here? Shall I meet them?
Yes. Here is my entourage. This is my bodyguard, and he's going to indicate Bram.
Now, Governor.
Pleasure to meet you, sir. And he reaches out to shake your hand. This is very irregular for a noble to a servant, but reaches out to shake your hand.
I'll take it.
Yeah, really strong grip. He says, "You're a brave man, and strong it appears." He's probably shorter than you, just looking up into your eyes. Yeah.
Our hardware expert, Aldo.
How do you do?
A pleasure. Yes.
And,
there are a couple other. I used to have I'm realizing that I'm generalizing you based on your nationality. I had a butler who was from Catalan, but that doesn't matter because you are a man in and of yourself. A pleasure to meet you, sir.
Well said.
Thank you.
Got a lot of Akarosi guilt around here.
Great. So he greets both of you. And who is this? Does Mr. Templeton not have any servants?
This here is my my advisor. She handles she doesn't like to speak very much, perhaps, but it sounds like she wants to speak for herself right now. I'll allow it, I suppose.
Yes, Barry Davidson. I'm Mr. Templeton's advising him on matters of weaponry
of these animals out here. The thing is she's done quite a bit of scavenging in the Deathlands, working out here, and faced down many a beast. I'd hate to see her go up against old Leon Vorian. She's a devastating shot, perhaps. Best not to get a gun in her hand, otherwise you'd completely emasculate every man here. It would be ghastly, a massacre of sorts, perhaps.
And
Bram leans over to Aldo. We're not very good nobles, are we?
Hopelessly.
and I'll reach out and shake his hand without any self-conscious airs. A very strong handshake.
Yeah, he goes, I've never met a woman named Barry.
Well, allow me to be the first.
Short for Baronia, maybe?
My parents, well, since I'm an ecological expert, as my colleague here has explained, my parents just loved botany.
Fantastic. Well, my name's Brace, so I understand strange names. All right. So who is going in what car? So you're either with the guy you like most and the guy who likes you least, or you're with the sort of quiet, somewhat maybe grumpy couple and the nice old man.
Oh my!
Where do you want to go, Varric? Where do you think you need to be going, Varric?
Oh, I mean, I would like to be with Brace and
Lord Vorian.
Lord Vorian, yeah.
Mhm.
Leon.
Perhaps you'll go
I'll
with
follow Varric, of course.
Aldo and
Of
Bram,
course.
and I'll go with Barry and sit with the
Lord
other.
and Lady Strath and
Yeah.
Lord Chasuble. Great.
An idea of who they are.
And although you'll also be with Varric and Bram.
Follow my master. Oh my gosh.
as we're going towards the carriage, I want to as an aside to Aldo, say, if I can find out which gun belongs to the other man, is there any chance you can just slip something into it and just something to jam it at some point?
It's already done. As far as I'm concerned, I identify the gun.
Very good. Very good.
So the doors are swung open. The curtain of guts and like actively decaying meat opens up. You pull open the door, and stairs are flipped down from it. You walk into what is essentially sort of a train car, but there are bunks in here. There's also like a sort of sitting area. These are like weirdo mobile homes for these travelers. Everyone gets inside into their own sort of tank carriage thing. As you then the Deathlands Gate then opens. There's basically a portion of it is shut off temporarily, and there's this weird moment where like a huge wind comes through it, and it's very, very cold. You all then begin to roll out into the Deathlands, and within a couple of minutes, you realize how much the buzz of the lightning wall has been in your ears. It is just this, and like when you were standing near it, a few minutes ago, it was the kind of thing where like you're standing next to a 10-foot tall subwoofer and your teeth are like vibrating from it. Just this huge noise and huge influence. And as you get at some distance from it, you can look out the window and girl, you can see the sort of silhouette of the Lost District glowing with ghostly presences on the hill. You also see above you, these enormous black towering clouds, and you start to hear that the hum of the lightning wall disappears. And for many, if not all of you, that sound is gone for the first time in your life. So, except for I think Aldo, I don't know if anyone else has ever gone outside the wall before. So you emerge into the Deathlands, and that is where we will take our break.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for sticking around. We will be back after 5 minutes or so. Looking forward to continuing this adventure. Thank you so much for being here, and yeah, we'll see you after the break. Hello and welcome back to the Contraband. Thank you for waiting. We're excited to return. Here we are in the Deathlands. You are all inside these strange carriages, these coal-powered carriages. They're sort of warm inside just from the heat of these furnaces. Brace goes over and shovels a little bit of coal into this engine, and it just continues rattling across the land, which is just sort of bumps underneath you. These aren't roads, obviously. He smacks the frame of it, very much in the hits roof of car meme, and he says, "You like it? It's incredibly expensive, but far more effective than these Severosi bone cloaks. This allows us to travel unseen, undetected through these lands."
It is remarkable. If only something could be done about the smell when you're outside of it, but I understand the needs.
Yes, yeah. Lord Vorian, sitting nearby, has a perfumed handkerchief up against his nose, and he goes, "That I agree with." I think it's much better back in the old days when we just hiked out in our cloaks and saw who died.
Well, how, if you don't mind me asking, as I've not done Akaros Deathland hunting before, how do these spirit wardens feel about our little trips out here? I know they generally don't approve of people leaving the city.
Yes, well, the spirit wardens are really only interested in the things that make things easier for the spirit wardens, aren't they? In the end, this is good for them to some degree. We bring back things that frighten people, make them nervous about going out in the Deathlands. We make it into this frightening thing. Of course, it is rather frightening, but they've never troubled us before, and there's no occult work among us. No whispers. Though Lord Vorian sort of looks askance at him as he says that.
That was scant.
Just a little as he says, "Oh, there's no whispers among us." He just sort of looks at him,
Okay.
makes a face. Nothing else happens.
Okay.
So yeah, any interactions or things that you bring up while you're riding with them? For example, let's jump to the other car. Nathan Chasuble sits in front of Hix, because you went in that car, right, Hix?
Yes, I did.
Yes, he sits looking at you and says, "Tell me, I know a bit of Mr. Lomond's family, but not much of yours. You've said you've spent a great deal of time outside of Duskfall. Is that where you met your advisor? Tell me, please. I would love to know."
Nathan, truly I was lying. I haven't spent any time outside of Duskfall. I've spent a lot of time slumming it up in Duskfall. I did grow up in Brightstone, but and gained a little bit of favor with one of the nobles there that I'd really prefer not to discuss, but I've been living in Silkshore for the past several years, quite happily, actually.
That's not the answer I was expecting. But you are a Templeton. There is some history to that name.
There is some history, yes.
I see.
But tell me a little bit about you, Lord Chasuble. I've only ever heard your name. We don't really run in the same networks these days. What do you do?
Oh goodness, I would be surprised. I'm surprised to hear you've heard of me at all. My father was I
was lying about that as well. To be honest, I'm sorry. I don't know. I've been lying a little bit lately. It's really an awful habit. I really try to keep it real most of the time, but I don't know. When you live in a city of liars, you find yourself lying to yourself at first, and then lying to others after.
I see.
But I digress. Tell me about you.
Well, my father was a mediocre naturalist,
my mother was a far more accomplished naturalist. And that's really where I got my interest in all this. I didn't follow in their footsteps. I became a banker, which I did for much of my life. Incredibly dull work. But I took this up in my spare time and haven't had to do it in 30 years. So I suppose that's really all you could say about me.
Well, it's a pleasure to know you.
Now, he leans forward.
Why have you come with us? Should I be letting our friends in the front of the car know that you're not who you say you are?
Well, we wanted to see the Deathlands. Varric is who he says he is, and we're friends of Varric's. I don't know if you've been keeping up on the Duskball noble gossip, but Varric has fallen out of some favor with his father, and he's taken up with some people who his father does not approve of. Me personally, I think that the rising generation should be allowed to follow their own ways, which will constantly be vexing to the older generation. But Varric is really doing good work and doing his best and trying to establish contacts of his own among the nobility separate from his father, and we're his friends who watch his back while he does that. And if that alarms you, Nathan, can I call you Nathan?
You may, yes.
If that alarms you, Nathan, and you feel like you do want to tell Brace Meroden that we're not who we say we are, that's okay. You do what you feel like you have to do.
As a young man, I was quite in line with the thoughts of the nobility. I cared a great deal about reputation, cared a great deal about the reputations of others, and I was very careful to know who was in favor and who was not among the many circles. As I've become older, I must confess that I don't know how much I trust a man who's never fought with his father. So, I'm here to shoot monsters in the face. I don't particularly care who you are.
Wonderful. That's exactly how I feel. I'm excited to get to know you over these next few days, Nathan.
Oh, yes. Similarly on my end. I'll leave any sharing of yourself to yourself.
Thank you. And I'll try not to lie to you anymore. But if I do, I'll try to tell you immediately. It's an awful habit.
That's fair. I appreciate that.
I'm gonna put one tick into the hunters are impressed with you.
Great.
Yeah. I just don't think any of these needs a roll because it just sort of doesn't fit the narrative on my end.
Yeah,
for
it
to need
seems
a roll.
organic.
So, yeah, like it.
I'd like to.
What, are we
switch
playing a
cars to
game?
ride
We
with the
roll
cool guy.
dice.
Oh, you want to switch to ride with the old guy, Carson?
I want to ride with the old guy who just wants to shoot monsters in the face.
Yeah, over in the other car, Bram and Aldo are like, yeah, I really wanted to sit with the other guy. I just wanted to hear him say, "Welcome to Hogwarts."
So, as immediate karma for that, Bram and Aldo, they're one of Lord Vorian's servants sits across from you. He's a young, sort of bright-faced young man with a wispy beard, and he says, "Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Francis."
Hello, Francis. I am Aldo. This is Bram.
You,
Yeah. Mr. Borden, if you would.
Mr. Borden. Excuse me.
I see, Mr. Borden and Aldo. Yes, I've been told you are the you're some of Lord Lomond's men. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah, that's right.
More of his associates.
I see. That's wonderful. Isn't it just wonderful to be in the company of such brave men?
He leans forward and he's like, you excited then to be here?
Certainly. I'm sure if you are servants to a member of the Lomond family, you know how many jobs there are among the nobility that are so full of boredom and politic and pouring tea. Imagine being able to go beyond the walls of the city and participate in such grand adventures. It really is quite exciting.
Have you been beyond the walls?
This is my first time.
Get outside, my lord.
I'm not Lord, Mr. Borden.
My mistake.
Yes, I was. Have you been beyond?
No.
Yes, I've been beyond the walls before. Yes, I actually come from beyond the walls.
Oh yes. You're from the Dagger Isles, is that right?
From Catalan. Thought you would.
Sorry,
Most... It's all right. It's all right.
I don't know many foreigners.
There's not very many, I suppose.
Yeah. Oh, good. Well, it's just a pleasure to meet you. I wanted to introduce myself. I don't mean to bother you. You clearly both very busy sitting.
Well, no, please. Of course, we're all out here together, and just as someone with a little experience, it is good that we stick together in a dangerous place like this. I do have a question. Your master, Lord
Vorian. Yes.
Vorian, yes, Vorian. How long have you bottled? Yeah. What do you?
I've been his manservant for 2 years now. Yes. This is my first time. He has several. So this is my first time going out on the hunt. I've just come of age. You see, just turned 18. Yes.
Oh, he's a teenager?
Yes. Before I couldn't legally go join the hunt. Yes.
And how do you like your master?
He is well, make a good sword roll to see how much you can get out of him in this moment.
Okay. You want to assist or anything?
Just
kidding. Bram's just sitting there.
Sure, I'll just roll it.
Saving my stress for the monsters.
Right? Yeah. I know, I'm like, not for this 18-year-old?
Yeah.
All right, I got a 4.
Okay. He says, Lord Varian is a very impressive man. I'm very excited to join in his adventures and to be with such brave individuals. You notice him a few times looking sort of longingly at Brace, as if like, I really would rather be looking for this guy than for Lord Varian. Oh, Ben, you're muted.
Sorry, I just said he has like a boss crush. It wasn't important. I'm sorry.
Yes, no. It was important. It was essential.
Better to be muted.
So, as you're all discussing, Brace stands up and says, "I think we should be. I just wanted to, if you're interested, would you want to see one of the old towns? They were outside of the range of the walls back when they were constructed. It's from a distance, of course. We're not walking in. Yes.
Yes, I'm quite a fan of history.
Wonderful. Yes. I'll make a small. And he reaches out and like makes a little. Their carriage, which is in front, slows down, and the other one slows down with it. And he opens up the doors, steps out into the pitch black, frigid darkness of the Deathlands. And you all come out with him.
Yes.
There is a very thin amount of light, like a sort of moon-like glow, but it's coming from a weird direction. It doesn't at first make sense to you. Above, you can see that the clouds are just incredibly tall. Like you just have a huge view of these plains around you that are just all dark, as if there's like this last line of sunset. As you step onto the ground, it feels like dirt. It feels like prickly, dry grass. But then as Bram, you go to step forward and lift up your boot, you find that it is like attached somewhat. And you look down and what looked like grass is gripping onto your shoe actively. like sort of climbing up it.
Oh, I'll walk quickly.
Yeah, so you're able to. It's not strong enough to hold you, but essentially, like if you stay put for too long, whatever this is, sort of grips onto your the clothing and
it looks like vegetation.
This looks like grass, yeah, but it's like grayed, sort of a like faded gray indigo. So yeah, the all around you is just sort of a dusty gray landscape. There's almost nothing to communicate itself. But everyone steps out of the carriage, and you see Lady Strath, who steps forward sort of more confidently than the rest and goes, "There it is right there." You see on the horizon in the distance something bluish, and you realize that this is the source of the light. In a valley at some distance below, you see the bleached ribs of what was once a town. And in the cavity of that mangled space, you see a vortex like a hurricane. It's a whirlpool of energy and ectoplasm. It is made out of ghosts.
Ooh, boy.
Can we see humanoid figures in that?
It's distant enough that it's pretty difficult, but you can see like shoot-offs that like could be humanoid figures.
What happened there?
It's
if I look at it, not
this is
close
probably
enough?
a half mile away.
Okay.
There's like ever since you've gotten into the Deathlands, there's been just like a faint, like itching burning at any ghost burns that any of you have. There's been just a small amount of it. Brace looks at it and says, "Well, they've lost all sense, you see, all conception of what they once were. Now they behave as the wind, but they still hunger, so we should keep our distance." Yes. Quite impressive, isn't it?
You say that town used to reside outside of the walls, or?
Oh yes, it was always on the edge of the city. It's we're about 10 miles out now. So yes, it always was a further city, but they never had the strength of the infrastructure to keep it after the breaking. So it's been like that for hundreds of years.
Poor buggers.
Yes.
This is the closest you've ever gotten, or have you ever looked a bit closer?
Once the hurricane, they occur at different places. They happen naturally. So sometimes it's been empty. I once walked the streets of it briefly. No good game there, so it wasn't terribly interesting. But yes. Anyway, I just thought you might be interested in a view of it.
Yes, it's very. And he gets distracted by the grass, like gripping his shoes and like shifts around a little.
Yes. Great. So that's all from that. Unless you have any other interactions you want to have with this ghost pillar, or just what you're seeing out here.
I think just on the way back, as we're if we walked just a few steps out away from it, I'd love to just brush up to Hix for a quick moment. As we're just like, I imagine we're just walking back kind of slowly, and I talk quietly to him. Couldn't put my finger on it, but I think I know where you got this coat. I haven't seen this coat, not in a long time. Not since I could pull it off of my body. He's just gonna that's like it. Brushes off, walks away.
Come on, boy.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm calling my dog. Pardon. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just say nothing.
That's fine.
Yeah, so you get back up into the carriage and it sort of sinks a little bit beneath you. As the carriages continue onward, eventually Hix and the girl, you see Lady Strath pull out a small bowl of water. She also goes over to the she sends her husband over to the birdcage. He reaches in, he opens up the canvas, and this like screeching bone bird freaks out for a moment. He reaches inside, like grabs it very quickly and plucks this like sort of bony faded feather from it, closes the thing on it, puts the canvas back over it, and brings it back over to her. He sets this feather on top of the water that she's holding in this bowl, which is sort of like rippling and with the movement of the carriage, and she starts to attune. you see her take a few drops of quicksilver. Her eyes start to steam a little bit, and she keeps going for a couple minutes of this until she says,
They're nearby.
What's nearby? Who's nearby?
Lord Strath, who always has a sort of like sardonic look, says, "What we're hunting, our prey is nearby for this afternoon." Yes, are we all ready? Should be coming up close here. Chasuble starts going and getting geared up and pulls out his gun.
Says, yes, let's get on our way.
So soon enough, you arrive. The carriages come to a stop, and everyone starts to emerge. The hunters, and you're able to see through the windows and through the door what looks like it was once a lake. That is now sort of a crater with a flat surface at its bottom, which appears to be solid. This is at some distance from you. And so the Brace starts giving sort of a general thing. He says,
So, I asked Lady Strath to take a look and see if she could find a small pack of death hounds. Just something easy for all of us to get started on. Lord Vorian here, Lord Vorian nods, says he wanted to see how your group took them on. We'll of course stay back in case you need any assistance, but we thought this would be a good chance for you to show that you're capable of what we're about to do tomorrow.
I suppose it's always good to have a warm up.
Yes, indeed.
what was Girl going to say?
We're certainly capable. Certainly capable. Right, everybody? We all feel capable.
Let's fucking do it.
Of course. Yes.
Great.
I don't think it needs to be said. I have a heavy load.
Yes, I do
As
too.
do I.
Yeah.
Does the animal skins count to our load or nah?
Let's say nah. For
Great.
the sake of yeah, I think that's maybe in the future if you do more Deathlands thing, I would say one thing on your load, but let's not worry about it this time around. So basically you see, so we got a couple clocks we're working on here. You know, the impressive, there's two clocks that are actively going on, which are the hunters are impressed. There's also the hunters are disappointed. And another one, an 8-part clock that I'm starting called Something Wicked, which comes into play as soon as you step out of this place. And basically it's a clock to measure how much you have been scented or smelled by something in the Deathlands. So you see now, you're handed some binoculars and get a look down into this dark pit, and it's hard to see really, but you see a couple of silhouettes of what appear to be 4 large hounds, probably about 4.5 feet tall on all fours. They are not exactly, it's hard to get a sense of what they look like precisely. But you are handed a couple of lanterns that are currently off, gas lanterns. You can turn them on whenever you want to. But basically, in order to get it to a place where you can make a shot on them, you'll have to sneak down into the lake bed. So you'll have to make a couple of successful prowl rolls, and then you can assault them however you would like. So what do you do? And and you can be thinking about how to use these actions to impress the hunters as well as just succeeding at the fight. So
I'll look to Barry. I've got a very long scoped rifle. This is my large weapon.
Nice.
I couldn't get a really nice one because I couldn't roll that asset, but I have a one that matches my tier, and I'm like, Barry, let's go. And then I'll just start moving.
And this might be the scoped rifle that you took from off of a blue coat after garroting his head off.
Oh, that's right. When I
Oh my
Yeah, no,
god.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
We all groan as we remember.
Oh.
I was like, wow, yeah, that was a slightly different Hix back then.
Saying
I still have the garrote. I could garrote a death hound.
I don't know how effective.
Maybe.
Last resort. I think that's a last resort.
Great. All right. So who's doing what? What are you guys doing?
I'll lead a
Great.
prowl roll, yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
So-
So everyone roll a prowl along with her, and every failure she takes a stress.
I rolled a 3. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
So that's 1 stress for the girl. It's a 5 from Bram, a 5 from Varric. Wow, he knows
indeed.
what he's doing.
It's actually
And
it's
a
the
4.
seal. It's the seal coat that's just muffling the sounds.
Yes.
mostly.
Yeah. Nice. Great. So that's only one additional stress for the girl from. And how is your roll?
5.
Great. Yeah. So I'm going to put 1 tick into something wicked. Just that maybe there's some stumbling as you're heading down this like slick slope of rocks. There's nothing growing here. So there's nothing to keep the soil packed effectively. So it's just sort of these loose, it's like walking down a hill made of gravel as you're heading down towards the Death Hounds. Yeah, so you were basically halfway there. So it's basically like a 4-part clock, and you've done halfway to a success, to getting all the way down to a position where you can make the salt.
Is this the kind of thing that attuning would allow us to sense their position and their awareness of us in some certain way?
Oh
Okay.
yeah, tuning could be really effective.
Hey. I think Aldo looks over at Bram with a little bit of a twinkle in his eye, and he's gonna get his. Now that Bram has probably seen this face of beginning the attunement, so he's gonna try it.
Awesome.
Let's go 1 pip.
Oh my gosh, you're pushing yourself? No. No.
I'll help you.
Ooh.
All right.
Bram will kind of clasp him by the shoulder and, incant something from the book that the Keltry Sisterhood lent me.
Nice. Cool.
Thank you. First roll was a 1, and the second one was a 6. So.
Yeah. So for
friendship.
Yeah.
so mechanically, let's say that Aldo, for a second, you are like, there's a little bit of like shakiness being out in the Deathlands again, and you just feel like, as you start to attune, you imagine what it would be like to feel like a wall, like that hurricane of ghosts, like to feel that around you, and you're just like, and then suddenly you feel Bram's hand on your shoulder, and you feel this like strength and this sense of like, I'm not doing this alone, and you're able to wash that away, and you sense 4 blue candle flames down in this area. They're sort of sniffing at the ground, pawing at. They're like, a couple of them are wrestling with each other, like like dogs do, playing bitey face. So yeah.
Okay, excellent.
So yeah, you have attuned to them, and yeah, you have a better sense of where they are. So you're gonna, I'll increase effect on your first attacks on them.
Hey, no. Okay.
Yeah.
So, does anyone have an actual plan as to what to do?
Yeah, I've got 6 of them. And Bram pulls up his volley gun, his 6-barreled rifle.
Gonna shoot them. We came out, we're gonna shoot them until they're dead. Did you bring something to shoot them with?
Yes. I'm gonna
All right,
pull out
cool.
my little pistol.
Oh my gosh.
That's a good piece. Great, cool. If they get close, shoot them.
All right.
Before you, I don't know, if you give me 1 moment, and I would like to set up, go up a bit ahead and set up essentially, not tripwire, but something I can detonate if they do get close. I assume, well, Hix, should we take the shots first and see what they do? Try to take some out before they get close? Or?
Absolutely. I mean, did you bring mines? That's awesome if you did.
No, not mines exactly. That is a little bit hard to acquire, but there's nothing wrong with a little bit of, I can make something happen.
Great. Yeah, I mean, if they get close to us, I don't know, blow them up. I don't know. I mean, I've never been out here.
Sure, I'm gonna
But-
pull some grenades off of my bandoiler. I almost said like I was 8 again.
My
Reminds me
bandoiler.
like my bandoiler. Off my bandolier, some grenades, and of
Awesome.
course I've got like a case on my back of my demolition and
Heck yeah.
tools. So I wanna run something up on a line essentially, and then
Heck yeah.
wherever we set up, which maybe is here.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, make that tinker.
Yes.
Can I do a setup action for him? I want to
Sure.
roll hunt and just intuit I mean, I don't know if these creatures would perhaps exhibit tendencies of living things or not, but with
Sure.
my skill in hunt, I'd like to set something up and
Cool.
glean where they might.
Yeah, absolutely.
It doesn't matter. I rolled 3 dice and 3 was my best.
Oh no.
I'm like,
Oh.
they're probably gonna run straight at us.
Yes,
I don't
cool.
know.
Because what you're hoping is to like see like a path, but this whole thing is just this like absolute nothing. And you realize the surface of this place is the remnants of the lake. There's this flat surface down at the bottom, and it has the properties of water, but as if it was frozen, not ice, but it is black. Just like completely black. You have no idea what it is. But it's just that the area is the landscape is too bizarre to read what it might be. Yeah, go ahead and make your tinker. Oh, Carson, how'd that go?
It's fine. It's a 2.
Oh wow.
Not fine.
Okay, so
It's okay.
so I'm gonna put 1 tick in the hunters are disappointed, as Aldo
I
steps
just like fumble it is what I.
Yes. Yeah, you come down. So it's you come down towards you're sort of sneaking towards them. There's a big rock in the way, and you're trying to hide behind it. You pull out this grenade. You then drop it. It rolls 5 feet downward and explodes. And this huge.
And I just shout almost as loud as the explosion.
Yep, and immediately, these hounds just like turn their huge heads towards you, and you finally get a view of them. Yeah, pulling up your guns. You get a visual finally on these creatures. The death hounds are about 4.5 feet tall on all fours. Their flesh is ragged and flows more like torn fabric than skin. Their bones emerge from it, willingly, and only grayish sinew imitates muscle. You can see in their open rib cages black organs that are shriveled like rotten fruit. And you can see little blue candle lights glittering in the cavities of their bare skulls. Faded violet tongues loll in their mouths as they begin to just this wild. I mean, it's not like a dog would normally run, sort of loping. It's this like desperate, like leaping towards you. So yeah, you can make some shots.
Yeah, I'd like to charge forward, close some of the distance toward them.
Yes.
My intent being with the volley gun to try and get multiple of the hounds in
awesome.
in a shot. So
Love
I'll
it.
be trading position for effect.
Love it. Yep. Awesome.
And I'll make a desperate hunt roll.
Woo!
With does he have
Double
increased-
sixes, baby.
Oh, never mind. He's fine.
Yes.
He's fine.
Yeah. So we're gonna put 2 dots into the hunters are impressed. So they're now we got 3 out of 6. You run forward and then slide down this sort of gravelly side here. 2 of them are at some distance. This volley gun, does it fire multiple shots at once? At all 6?
Yeah,
at
it
once?
fires 6 bullets at once.
Oh
And
my
it doesn't
God.
have a very long range, but it's just a huge blast.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, the 4 hounds are headed up towards you. 2 of them are hit in the blast. One of them, you see half of its skull flies off as 2 bullets strike it, and it just goes. And the other half of its face continues to screech in anger, and there's just like a burning blue fire inside of it. The other one is completely blasted with the 4 other bullets. You see one strike its head and like explode it at the cranium. Another one strikes it in the chest, and its rib cage blows open. Several of its like shriveled fruit organs fly out of it and like thump across the sand.
And you just faintly hear Bram say, "Sit."
Amazing. I love it. So yeah, let's say the first one, the one that's completely destroyed, its head is intact because that's useful because these could be trophies for the hunters. All right, so yeah, one of them has been significantly wounded in this. 2 of the others are still intact. One of them is dead already. So yeah, you hear from the hill above you, Brace Meroden like, "That's right, well done." So
Great, I'll take a shot.
Awesome.
I I wanna know who Lord Vorian is aiming. Like, I'm not sure if I can glean which of the hounds he's aiming for, but I want to aim for that one. Like, what sort of weapon is he using?
Yeah, currently the other hunters are they're not joining the fight with you. They're sitting back and watching you guys make this assault to sort of evaluate you.
Oh.
Yeah. So Vorian is not currently involved. Yeah. He does have a large rifle with a bolt action.
Cool. Yeah. Great. Well, I'm just gonna shoot my rifle at these things, roll a little hunt action, and I rolled a 5.
Okay.
Two
awesome.
1s and a 5.
Yeah, amazing. So what happens is you pull off this is the sniper, right? This long scope thing. So you pull this up and are making the shot. Do you know which is it? Which one of the ones that is it? The wounded one or one of the other two?
The wounded one.
Okay, great. Yeah, so the shot strikes the other wounded one. It is thrown backwards onto the sand, not necessarily dead, but like twitching. And you see another one running sort of towards Aldo. It hasn't yet reached you, and you sort of pull up to start reloading when you are thrown backwards onto your back by the other hound, which has skirted around and throws you back around the sand. You can choose to resist that if you'd like, or there's no harm involved yet. It's just because it was just a
So this hound just pounced on me.
Yep.
Great.
Hits you in the shoulder. Yep. You're.
No, I accept it. Come here, Popper.
Yep. You're knocked off the ground.
In a minute.
Yes, it's sort of slobbering over you, but it's not saliva. There's ash pouring out of its mouth.
I've felt that one.
I would
before.
like
relatable.
Love it. Amazing. Yeah, girl,
I'd
what you
like
doing?
to use my reflexes. So like as soon as that puppy leaps onto Hix, I'm taking shots at it. And if it's close range, it doesn't have to be hunt, right? It could be skirmish.
It can be skirmish. It can be finesse. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So I don't have any in hunt. Okay, so I'm pulling out my 2 sort of like big hefty pistol type things.
Nice.
And taking like double shots as I'm sort of sliding around using my acrobatic skills. It looks very impressive, and
Cool.
I am rolling.
Awesome. Yeah.
I guess I'm rolling skirmish.
Okay.
Yeah. This is not my forte.
I'll aid.
6!
Okay, I don't need to.
Woo,
Great.
you need to aid. Yes. Is your goal to damage the creature or to get it off of Hix? I mean, obviously both is preferable, but what's the preference? If you get one?
I think get it off of Hix.
Okay, great. So it's just slightly reduced effect because these creatures are tier 3. They're pretty big and bad, or at least a couple of the hounds are. So this one falls back off of him. Hix's moment. It's frightened at the blasts, but doesn't necessarily it skids off of one of the shoulders, and this like wisp of cloth flies off into the dusty gray. But it is not dead. But now Hix can sort of scramble to his feet. What's Varric doing in the face of all of this madness which has just occurred, and also what's Aldo doing?
So yeah, seeing that, I'm going to I'm gonna turn to Aldo and say, I need to impress these people, so I'm going to do something very stupid. Please don't let me die.
Okay.
Oh,
And
no.
I'm going to take off my Deathlands coat and start waving at the dogs and saying over here, hey, over here, and start running in the opposite direction from them to get them away from everyone else.
All right, that is trading position for effect. That is probably a prowl trying to get away from them, or is it could be a sway, or
I would like to make it a sway to convince them to go after me instead of
yes, done. Do it. I love it.
yeah.
Sway the bone dogs.
Yes.
6.
Oh my gosh, incredible. Yeah, so you Aldo looks up at you and gives no discernible response. You pull this off and call out and you feel terrified, but there's a bit of bravery and power in your voice, and everyone sort of notices it. There's this this real confidence as Varric then begins to hightail it across the sand, knees up to his chest, just sprinting.
This was a mistake. This was a mistake.
So as the hounds are following after you, so everyone could get a shot on him. Yeah. Go Aldo. What are we gonna do?
As soon as he does that and he says, "Don't let me die," and he starts taking off, I'm wondering, can I kind of use his discarded cloak and mine to get down? And I'm hoping that they will go over me, and I'm hoping I could get one of them with close range.
Yes.
Draw my pistol and my shiny sword, and I want to just kind of wait, just quietly underneath the stinky stuff, and see if they'll run by it.
Yeah,
and if I can get one in the back.
Yeah, so I think the cloak, you have it, you pick it up, you sort of lie down, so with this whole thing sort of covering you, pull out this long glittering sword. Make the skirmish roll.
Okay, fantastic. So they'll go over to me. I like to trade position for effect if I can.
Ooh,
I mean, it sounds desperate already because I don't know how many are in this pack exactly. But
yeah. But I think that's fair position.
The skirmish roll, you say?
You could do finesse if you'd like.
I'd really like to do that.
I'm sure you would. Yeah, go ahead. I think that makes sense.
That's
honestly,
okay.
I think it might apply better, honestly.
Okay, fantastic. I rolled a 6.
Okay.
So I just want to like bust up from behind it and first take a shot at one, and if it's close enough, I'll stab it, or wait for it to get close and stab it.
Yeah, so Aldo gets down on the ground, and for a moment, there's this moment of like, wait, what is he doing? And then this hound runs across him, and then this sword comes up out of it, on Aldo's arm, and this thing's head is lopped off in a single move, and lands at Hix's feet. This big Deathhound skull, with the candle flame sort of dying as it goes. It is completely killed. You get a face full of tumbling bones and ash, but you have taken it down and probably rise to a standing position, like with this cloak, like the hood falling off of you, and Aldo just looks like a huge badass.
An anime
slow-mo
badass.
shots.
An anime badass in an anime. Remember what genre this show is. None of you to forget.
Yeah.
I've been way off this whole time.
Dude.
Yeah, and my hope is to save Varric from dying. Maybe one turns around if it's interesting. But I don't know.
Yes, that's great. I'm also going to, from that 6 and from that success, we're going to fill the hunters are impressed. And we're going to start another 6-part clock called The Hunters Trust You. This is not just me trying to double the same thing, but this is you could potentially make a bigger request of them if you fill that. So they're impressed with you means they're not immediately suspicious of you. Trusting you could be a bigger deal.
Very cool.
There are now 2 dogs. There's 2 dogs left. One pretty wounded, one chasing after Varric. So what's the move?
Well, I would like to attune.
Cool.
And yell at the dog. Heel! as I run.
Oh my God. Okay. This is gonna be with reduced effect.
Yeah.
But you can make it, man. Do it. I love it.
Is it already a desperate position?
No, you can push it to desperate. It's risky, but with reduced effect, yeah. But if you push it to desperate, it'll have standard effect.
I'm gonna stick to reduced.
Okay, awesome.
How can I lie to these dogs?
Yeah.
Yes, I love it.
Plus my die. Give me 1 second. It fell off the table.
It's great. I love it.
Okay, that is going to be. It's a 5.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. So what happens is you turn, and almost immediately upon turning, this very fast creature tackles you to the ground and latches its arm onto its mouth onto your arm. You take level 2 harm, and then after having done so, you're like getting gripped by this on the arm, and you try to attune and like feel this very tenuous connection to the Ghostfield and push and say, heal,
Stop.
and it essentially like varies as if it's like getting bombarded with a bunch of like a huge amount of feedback from a speaker or something. It backs off of you. You're able to stand up, but it's there in front of you, sort of momentarily surprised. If the next action you do, it will attempt to attack you, but it has just given you level 2 arm. You can choose to resist that if you would like.
I will resist that for now.
Great. Yeah, I think it's good call.
Yep. Luckily, I have taken dots in everything again, so I have 2. Oh no, that would be a
Prowess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is 2 dice and a 6. All right.
Whoa, nice.
Yay.
Yeah. So you, and that's not even going to be taken down to a level 1 since it wasn't in desperate position. You completely avoid the harm. So essentially, it comes at you, and you're able to, like, with the back of your hand, palm its head out of the way just in time to keep, like, it snaps in your face 3 or 4 times, but you're able to sort of temporarily slow it. It's a bit confused, not sure exactly what's going on, but it is still alive. So yeah, nice. All right, what next?
Help!
Hix, girl, anything?
Yeah, I would like to run past Aldo and grab the discarded cloak that Varric left and be sprinting after Varric, pulling out a throwing knife and aiming at that dog. And getting close enough to do a finesse roll.
Do the finesse roll. Yeah,
can I do finesse? Is that okay for throwing knife?
For throwing knife, yes, I think that's preferred. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically, like short range throwing or short range projectile, I would generally put under finesse rather than skirmish, unless you're like you and a guy are wrestling on the ground and you're trying to shoot him in the face.
Love that. 5.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, you're. I'll put one more into something wicked. So it's currently at 3 out of 8. But basically, like you can feel your heart pounding, and you can imagine your feelings and the feelings of everyone in this fight radiating out to where it can be smelled by creatures within hundreds of miles. But that said, Varric has just told this dog to heal, and it's sort of confused and looks somewhat shaky. You throw this throwing knife, and it just slices into its head, and it collapses like a robot without power, just like collapses onto the ground.
And I'll toss Varric his cloak again of animal skins, like, you idiot.
I put it on sheepishly.
Is the last animal left on me? Is that right?
Yes, it was thrown back. It's the one that you originally shot half of its face off, so it's rising, coming towards you. Maybe as you're like still reloading or whatever, and it's just
with the volley gun, reloading is not a mid-fight
it's not an
thing.
option.
So I turn it around and with the butt of the gun, just bring it down, Gallagher style, try to dash the rest of the head apart.
Awesome. That's a skirmish.
Wreck or skirmish? What do you think?
Oh, wreck would be great. Yeah, I think
let's
that
do
makes
wreck.
more sense.
Gallagher style seems like wreck.
Up 4.
Up 4. Okay. So let's say. We'll do it bites you again for level 2 harm. So like it's coming towards you. You pull the thing up. It grabs onto your leg, but you're able to smash it down. But you basically like have to prise its teeth off of your leg, unless you choose to resist.
I'll resist.
Yeah. Right, that's a good call.
Okay, so let me roll that. That is a 3, so I take 3 stress.
3 stress.
Ouch.
But, yeah, woof. But it is
Woof.
but it doesn't bite you at all. There's no woof indeed. It's reduced
Because
down
it's a
to
dog. Okay.
reduced down to 0
Pork.
harm. So with that, all of the dogs are all the death hounds are taken down. 2 of them have salvageable trophy heads. No, yes. 2 of them. So yeah, you
I'll bring one over to the one that I cut off to Varric and say, I'll throw it down at his feet, and he's like, that was fucking stupid. Now go impress them.
I agree. Yes. Won't do that again.
So the hunters come. The hunters come down to greet you, and some of the servants actually are running forward to like gather up the trophies. So Francis says, "Master Lomond, please don't. I can carry them." And he gives a sort of strange look at Aldo, like, "Why aren't you carrying your master's trophies?"
And like with the sword, just like
Yeah. Brace comes up to you, Bram, and says, "Well done, fantastic shot."
I'll do my best, my lord.
Indeed. And Varric, I've never seen tactics like those.
I was inspired by you. You know, living dangerously.
Yes, indeed. Let's make a consort and see if that counts towards him trusting you. I like that. That's fun.
3. That's 6.
Fantastic.
Another 6.
Double sixes?
No, just 3, 6, 5.
Great. Awesome. That's awesome. So, yeah, you. We'll put 2 into the hunters trust you.
All right.
Yeah. Great. So you are Lord Vorian as well. Comes up to you and says, "Unconventional, but I think you can handle it."
I trust there's no more questions of our abilities and our capability.
Well, I just know that you won't. If you die out there, it won't be my fault, at least. So.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's get back in. Let's keep going. So yeah, you all get back into the carriages. Basically, they travel for another 10, 15 miles throughout until late in the night, at which point the carriages just sort of circle up, and there's some of the doors are able to open and they can like interact with each other so that the 3 become like a single sort of bunkhouse, and everyone
very cool.
Carriage for it.
Carriage for it. Everyone eats a little bit and has some sort of gross trail food, a lot of jerky, and anything that you guys interact with, any interactions for the evening that you guys have with
Yeah.
At some point while we're eating, I'll sit respectfully close, not too close, to Brace Meroden, and say, if there's one thing, my lord, that I've learned about hunters, is that everyone's got something they're chasing, the ultimate prey. What's your white leviathan, so to speak?
Good question. Well, I suppose it's not something I feel ready for, and I don't know if I'll ever be ready for it. But the Bone Rattler.
Now that sounds like a real fuck in the arse.
It is. It is exactly that. There are.
Exactly that?
It is metaphorically that.
Okay.
It's not really it's not a creature. I'm looking for an experience. No, just kidding. It says, that's not what we're hunting tomorrow. Certainly not. We're going after the Carrion boars tomorrow. But the rattler is the most dangerous thing that lives at least in the Bone Hills. Tomorrow we're hoping to avoid it. But
And what form does it take?
It's a serpent.
Of course it is.
Yes. About 80 feet long.
And there's just the one, you think?
We don't know. It could have a family, but there's only there's been the one that's been seen, and it has a distinctive scar.
Well, I hope one day you manage to catch one, my lord.
Thank you. I'd hope so. For now, I'm quite pleased to be among fellow sportsmen. I'm glad to have made your connection. It is as much as it's nice to be with stodgy old fellows, and he smacks Lord Vorian, who actually cracks a bit of a smile for the first time in this trip.
Well, bit mercenary, I suppose we are, but we'll have you back tomorrow.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. So one sort of question score-wise is what your group's strategy is as far as getting to Hansen Depot from here. One of the obvious possibilities is that if you could steal, borrow one of these carriages, you could get there pretty easily. But any thoughts on what you guys are planning or thinking about?
I was going to take Aldo aside at some point in the night and say, have you been able to take a look at the mechanism of our carriages?
Can I have taken a look?
Certainly. For zero stress.
Great.
Yes, you can have a flashback.
May I study it?
Yes.
I rolled double 3s.
Okay. What information particularly were you looking for?
I wanted to see if Aldo could pilot it, which seems like no at this point.
Oh, no, the mechanism itself would be not complex enough that I think that it would be enough increased effect because of its tier that it's certainly pilotable. I mean, the thing is more clunky. It's basically what I'll do is, because of the 3s, I'll say you basically have gained proficiency with driving this machine, but I'll just say that I can give you reduced effect at will, given that you don't understand it perfectly.
Sure.
So
And,
that's my general feeling.
Can I report back to Varric here? Can I try to find Leon's gun?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Having done this in the night.
Yeah, absolutely. Make the search.
Okay. Survey, study. What do you wish? Or do you wish to aid her?
Study.
I will aid you in that, yes.
All right, study. I'm gonna watch how he treats his gun. Which one it is? This is all good. I will take you. Oh wait. Thank you. That's a 6.
Okay, nice, awesome. Yeah, so you are able to find the gun, and I think effectively, we can put the 2 actions into one. Your plan is to basically make it so that it will misfire on its first shot. What's the exact plan? Is it supposed to backfire in a combustible way? What's the plan?
Oh no. I'd assumed this is what Aldo would have assumed from his one little. Can you make this happen? That he's just gonna have it click, misfire. It's not gonna, the hammer's not gonna hit.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
it's not
great.
gonna combust in the right way. So it's just, he's gonna
sure. So it won't fire at all. Great.
Yeah.
Let me just really quick throw in here for our chat. Graham, the player of Borden, is in a play and has to depart from us. Bram will still continue to be a part of the narrative. He is not dead, nor will we do anything to him while Graham is gone. But if there need to be interjections, I will give free rein to the other players to improvise any Bram dialogue that needs.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear on the VOD. I'm going to listen to your impressions of Bram. No, before I do sneak out, I wanted to, while they're discussing, talk to Hix and also the girl and say, if we're gonna get away from here with one of those carriages, we're gonna need to disable these gentlemen. I don't know if you would be in favor of something like a sedative. I suppose Aldo probably has something on board.
Yeah, his ears are burning wherever he's at right now.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, it sounds good to me. I mean, it seems like perhaps the best time to do it would be to drug them one night, perhaps on our way back, leave all of them in one, and take the other. But
yeah, sounds good.
It doesn't solve the problem of, perhaps we can be back before they wake up.
We'd have to be.
Yeah,
this is meta pigeoning a little bit, but it's his penultimate session meta pigeoning. You could also potentially take the carriage during one of the hunts, find an occasion or reason to leave during one of the hunts, especially if they split into 2 groups, and then take the carriage and get back without sedating anyone. But I'm totally into the sedating thing, so
I think that there's a chance that we can. I don't know. I think that these people are looking to be impressed, and I think that we can manage that. And perhaps if we can get them to go down near Gaddock Rail Station in the, as a favor to us, if we can do that, then that would be great. But I think as a last resort, it'd be, Aldo always has roofies on him. It's a little weird, but he typically is packing. So it seems like that plan would work.
Well, I'll keep an eye out, and I'm on board with whatever you decide.
Alrighty.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you, Graham, for being with us. Have a great
Bye,
night.
Graham. We'll miss
see
you.
you
Good
next
night.
week for our
Love you all.
final session of the Contraband Season 1. So thank you so much. Have a good night. Good. Break a leg.
Breaking the legs.
Yes, he's going to walk away from the screen.
He's going
The
to
screen has to stay
fade.
so that the videos don't get weird. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Don't let the videos get weird.
Please
They'll know
don't
it's
make the video.
it's pretend. No, it's pretend.
Oh, no.
The artifice is
Look
broken.
behind the curtain.
Great. Okay, so anything else that happens in the evening, either inside or outside of the carriages?
I would like to figure out who these who Lord and Lady Strath are. I'd like to sort of strike up a conversation
Yes.
with
Yeah.
with them. What are they like? It seems like she's obviously here as the tracker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's his situation? Is he just afraid to be left at home, or what's the deal?
You get the sense she is a tracker and has these whisper powers, but she also has a gun and is prepping it and looks to be just as much a hunter as the others. But the two of them are pretty quiet. She is rather friendly, very polite. You always get the sense of a little bit of polite distance, and he's a little bit more severe and kind of in his head, not necessarily unfriendly, but just kind of thinking about his own things. They are young. They're probably just a little bit older than you, a little bit younger than Aldo probably. Yeah, they declare themselves to be friends of Brace. She, Lady Strath, knew Brace. Her father was also a hunter with them, and then Lord Strath also became interested in it and sort of was able to join this rather elite hunting corps as part of it. So they've gone on a few trips. They have the shortest relationship with Brace, but he's very friendly to them and very excited to have them on board. So yeah, that's the general sense you get of them. Is there anything other particular information that you're looking for from them or about them? Yeah.
Oh, I don't think so.
Cool.
I don't know. Maybe we'll see if they impress Hix. I'll start a clock.
Sure. Yeah, perfect. Sounds great. Yeah. Any other interactions for the evening with anyone?
To talk to crotchety old Orion, if I can find myself in a situation near him or his people or his camp or whatever.
Yeah. So he has one of the bunks, and Francis is with him, and Francis is going through all the gear, and trying to do like inspections of it. And you actually watch as Francis looks at the gun that you have tampered with, and he goes, something a little bit strange about that. And Orion says, "Just put it away. It's fine." Franz looks up and sees you and goes, pardon me. Is there something that Lord Lomond needs?
No. Of course not. I just, as I told you earlier, it is good for us to know one another. I think while we were out here in these dangerous lands, yes. So I thought I'd introduce myself to Lord Vorian here. More formally.
Yes, nice to meet you. Doesn't shake your hand. You probably know more of the Deathlands than any of us. You fought in the Unity War?
How can you tell?
Posture.
Of
Served in the
course.
military.
Of course. And you as well.
Understanding it. Much younger man, didn't fight in any wars. But yes, the training.
I see. And how often do you hunt with Lord Meroden?
Frequently enough. Most of the times he goes. I don't like being left out, so.
Of course. Well, I would look forward to perhaps hunting with you in the next few days. Hopefully, our skills were appropriately displayed for you.
Yes, I was quite impressed with you.
When I dropped the grenade.
Oh, well. Mistakes happen to the best of us. It's what we do after them.
Well, I like to play it off a bit as a planned fumbling. You see, it keeps everyone. I fucked up.
I see.
Well, quite good. You said something was wrong with the gun. You didn't want me to.
He doesn't know much about it. He's. All respect to you, Francis. You're learning things, but no, it's fine. I inspected them myself before we went. Everything's fine.
Great. Wonderful. Excuse me then. I guess I'm passing through. I don't know. I imagine this is some weird circular Harry Potter.
Yep.
And
Yep. Yeah, it's very, very Quidditch World Cup.
Sure.
So he says, "Wait a moment.
yes.
Where's your family? Why are you in Duskfall?"
I came to Duskfall after my time in the war.
I see. And you brought your family with you?
No. I'm afraid I left them in Catalan. They
Are they alive or dead?
You, sir, are quite to the point, aren't you? I'm afraid they are. I'm afraid I have lost them. Yes.
Was
We
it the rebels that killed them, or who?
do you have an interest in I suppose foreign affairs and issues of the war, of the rebellion?
No, not at all. No, I have no interest in politics. Fuck all that. I'm interested in soldiers.
They were killed, yes. They were killed. They were killed by the rebellion for doing nothing, for living their lives, for believing that maybe nothing, for fuck all politics indeed. Politics got them killed.
Well, I know that I'm blunt, but what we're doing out here is playing games compared to what you've lived. So, I'm sorry if I asked too much, but I'm very sorry for what happened to your family.
I appreciate that. You know, not many people say that. Not many people care. Not many people see the lives that are affected. And something that happened not so long ago. Why do you care?
Make a consort roll.
Yeah. I will do this. I will stress myself. Sorry. And I will roll a 6.
Okay. He says, I don't know particularly. I'm just an old man who's sick of bullshit. But I just know that all of us have had it far easier than folk like you, people who actually fought, actually served. And so I know that my service was nothing compared to it. I just did the training. And also, my brother was killed by Rorick and the Crows back in the day. So,
by Rorick, the old leader of the Crows?
Yes. Yes, my brother was a blue-coat officer. Tried to get too much out of his comfort zone, tried to push back against the Crows back when they ruled Crow's Foot and half of Duskfall to boot. So, yes, he was killed. And
real quick, Hix,
Yeah.
do I know about your machinations?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I'm gonna do some work for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. We I am sorry to hear that. It is and I hope you will trust when I say there are not many people who can understand. But it's funny. You should mention the crows. We have, the Varric, Lord Lomond. Frankly, I don't know what to call him. He's more of an associate anyway. We have some business with the crows ourselves. They, I don't know if you know, have been sort of getting a little big for their britches once again. Changed their names to some ridiculous, I don't know. I can't even remember.
The jackdaws or something. I don't remember.
Something, yes. But we're planning a bit of a I don't know, a bit of something to put them in their place. I'll be honest, you didn't strike me as one that who may be interested in this, and perhaps you are not, but help and support in these matters would be greatly appreciated, and perhaps it could do something for you, for your brother to know that what Rorik started has hurts.
Yeah, make another consort.
Oh my gosh, I will. I will do this.
Don't push yourself, Carson. It's not worth it.
I'm not gonna. I don't need to.
All right.
I rolled a 4.
Okay. He says, I don't know if I understand exactly what you're telling me about who you are, but I appreciate the gesture. When Rorik died, I had all the revenge I needed. So I'm afraid I try to live within the law myself. So I appreciate it.
Of course. And just to be clear, I also live within the law, so nothing untoward. So.
With Lord Lomond, I would expect nothing otherwise.
Of course. Well, I'll put a hand out. Varian, thank you. I'll leave you to your evening.
All right. Good night.
Oh, you little turd.
And then Francis is doing something. He's like coming a little bit closer. He's like, Lord Varian. He's like, fuck off. Great. Any other evening interactions?
Yeah, sorry, one more thing. Francis.
Please, yeah.
Francis. I'll call him out in a second.
Yes.
I don't want to say anything, but you should take a closer look at that. Don't tell him where you heard it. I'm sure he would be greatly appreciative if he...
Okay, I'll see if I can convince him to let me. Maybe I'll just wait until he's gone to sleep. Actually, yes. Okay.
So, I just caught a quick glimpse. I think you're onto something.
Okay. Thanks. Thank you. Thanks.
Sorry, Varric.
Heads up.
Wow.
Damn character's becoming sympathetic.
Yeah.
So, any other evening interactions? Doesn't have to be. We move on to the following morning, equally as black as the night before. You get the sense that it's that out here in this particular region of the Deathlands, things are often quite dark. The next day, you wake as the engines sputter to life and the carriages begin moving. If you peek through the windows an hour or so later, you will see that you have entered the Bone Hills. There's a forest of white trees, and as you come closer, you see that all of these trees are made out of bones. Many of them appear to be human bones. There's like trees that are just like rib cages stacked on top of each other and leg bones stretching outward around you. Some of them appear to grow fruit. The forest becomes thick enough that the rattling carriages are surrounded by them, and there's a thick canopy overhead. Eventually, Brace and you all get out of the carriages. There's a little bit of misty bluish light that seems to emerge through some of the clouds, and it feels very early morning as Brace gets ready and says, "All right, we'll split here, friends. We have 7 hunters. Who shall be the 4 and who the 3? You see, we will be hunting down the Carrion boars today. There's what we believe to be, we don't know, a mating pair. We don't know if they mate or if they have children, but they're rather large, rather intimidating. We're going to split off. One group with me. We'll go and we'll try and make a distraction to get one of them come towards us, and the other one will go for the other in its lair. I assume Templeton and Varric, you'd want to go together.
Quite right, yes.
However you want.
The two.
Fine with me. Yes, of course. Of course.
And
Sorry, are we picking teams? What would you like,
well,
Grace?
Would you like 1 or 2 with you? You can take Chasuble, you can take Vorian, or you can take Lord and Lady Strath.
Oh, I see. Yes. Well, I think Vorian's the one to go with us. What do you think, Varric?
I wholeheartedly agree, and he gives a bit of a mischievous grin.
No.
I'd like to see what Lord Vorian is capable of, personally. Seems like a person who I'd like to learn from.
Very well. Yes. And he looks appraisingly, not very neutral, not particularly pleased. Nods at Aldo a couple times as he comes. He says, "Fortescue, come with me. It's Francis, sir."
Fortescue.
Florian's got a big old backpack of gear, and Vorian looks at his gun a little bit as preps, and you guys begin to head out in the direction of tracking one of the Carrion boars. So this is going to be a 6-part clock, trying to locate the thing through the forest. You will all be given +1 to hunt from Vorian.
Ooh.
While you're here.
Whoa.
Yeah.
We're all together on this part of the mission.
Yeah, unless another group would like. I think it'll be easier for all.
Yeah,
in
that's
one
fine.
group.
Just making sure. Yeah.
Sure. Yep. Yeah. So you're in these misty woods made of bones.
Gross.
Cool.
Also,
Great. I'm gonna start tracking using hunt.
Awesome. And Jamie, you had a question?
well, you said something so intriguing that I had to ask about it. You said that the bone trees bear fruit.
Yes. Yeah. You want to
Okay.
make a study roll and see if you can find some?
Yes.
I'll aid you.
Cool.
Take another die there,
Ooh,
young Lomond.
thank you. That is. Extra die from Hix. Thank you very much. That is going to be. There's a 6 there. Yes. Thank you for
Yes.
that.
So you step away from the carriages and find a tree nearby. There's 3 or 4 fruit on it, and only a couple of them are close enough to the ground that you're able to get them easily. But you pluck one off of what looks like there's a branch that it looks like a skeletal hand and like a ligament from which this fruit is hanging. The fruit is gray like everything out here, but it's sort of bluish gray, and there's a sheen to it. And you pluck it off the tree, I assume. And it you at first it feels like a little bit like bad, like a fruit that's gone bad, like parts of it are mushy. And as you hold it, you hear a voice coming from the fruit. It's very faint, but if you hold it up to your ears, you might be able to hear it.
It feels like not a good idea.
Yeah, what are you gonna do, Varric? Hold it up to your ear or what?
I am channeling pure Graham Ward.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm going to hold it.
Yeah, come on, you got it. Like, what are you gonna do? Walk away?
I love it. You touch it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you hear a childlike voice saying, "Father, please, Father, no, you're hurting me. Father, please, please, please," and just repeating in that same vein again and again and again. There is another fruit nearby that you could
Yeah,
pluck.
I'm gonna pluck that.
Okay. Yeah. The other one says, "You selfish, stupid bitch. I'll hurt you. I'll take you." Just like this vitriolic thing.
Okay. I'm going to. Would those count as loaded items, or can I just like put them in a pocket?
You can take
Fine.
the fruit. Yeah, I'm into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talking fruit.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Yes.
pocket those.
Yeah, great. Yeah, so they're not loud enough for you to hear them once they're in your pack.
Okay.
Also, just letting both checking in with the group. My plan is to go till about 11:15. It's going another 11:15 my time. So another 10 minutes or so. That seem reasonable for us? Or are we all good with that? Or do we need to be? Because we can be done also if that's preferable. We can have the cliffhanger of the talking fruit.
Cliffhanger of the talking fruit.
Great, awesome. Okay, so how did your hunt roll go, Ben?
Oh, I haven't made it yet. Haha.
Great.
But
And you have another
rolled
die.
1-6.
Okay, awesome. So that's 3 parts of the 6-part clock. So you all spend the next little while going through these woods, and you see like some of that bone bird that Lady Strath had used to track the hounds. You see a couple more of them fluttering through the trees, and they sort of look at you, and you hear all their ligaments cracking as they're interacting with you. But
This place is so fucked up.
Yeah, man.
I'm just gonna like mutter that to the girl as we're like stalking through and like seeing these birds. Like, I don't want Vorian to know this, but like, God, it's not right out here.
Oh, you mean you don't want to, like set up a lovely cottage, retire here with a spouse?
You think I'd do well?
You're full of surprises, Hix Templeton.
Maybe I could. Maybe if Vorian would consent to be my spouse. You think he would? You think he's single?
Do I think Vorian's single? And I'll say it just like, you know that game you play with your friends where it's just a decibel louder than how they've said it?
Yeah, does he notice?
let me roll a fortune roll.
Of course. Now, Ted, the big decision is whether or not a high roll is that he did hear or didn't hear.
Yes,
like, can you guess what seems fortunate to Hix or the girl?
Yes. Yeah, that's a good question. He looks back momentarily, but puts his finger in his ear and like watch that a little bit, sort of confused.
Jeez.
I'll just clap Hix on the meat of their shoulder and go like, good luck with that one.
Thank you. Who knows?
So you keep heading into the woods, and like there's the crunch of like the ground below you is not like fallen leaves but fallen bones, like very small bones that are easily crunched like bird bones. You hear at some distance shots, and this is likely Brace, Lord and Lady Strath, and Nathan. And you hear like trumpeting through the bone forest. So yeah, you can keep moving towards where Vorian says, "We're heading towards their lair. It should be this way."
I'm gonna turn to Aldo and Bram, and I'm gonna say, so y'all have been fucking a little bit with that ghost shit, right?
Yeah.
Girl, you can play Bram for this scene if you want.
Sure.
So you think you can
Play Bram.
So you think you could get an idea of where these creatures are?
As long as you're willing to help me, Bram, it certainly helped last time.
Right, all right. So what do we have to do to make this happen?
All right, wonderful. I'm
So you're
going to.
making a tune.
I'm going to attune.
Great.
I won't. I won't
Great,
stress him out.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'd like to be able to aid you. I mean,
Give me a little
What's-
ghost.
what-
Give me a little ghost. Do you got any ghosts on you? Ghost. Freaking
A tune?
Quicksilver.
Quicksilver.
Ghost,
Would you-
ghost.
Would you like a fruit?
ghost?
Take a
Oh,
bite of
yeah,
a fruit.
Varric brought some. I'll grab it and pass it over.
Love it.
I'm gonna hold
Yeah,
this.
I don't like to mess with the ghost stuff anymore. I had a bad time once.
Can I hear it?
Oh, the fruit. That's right.
Yeah, I
Oh, can you hear that? How close are you to him?
I mean,
Well, he handed the fruit.
you
to
hand
me.
me
Oh,
one?
sorry.
Yeah, when you were asking for like spark or quicksilver, I was like, I have a ghost fruit.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, you can hear it. Is it the
Which one
child
is it?
abuse one, or is it the angry guy one?
I'm gonna do the angry guy so that Aldo's not reminded of any relatives
Yeah.
who
Yeah,
have
yeah. Content
Yeah,
warning,
dude.
man.
yeah.
Trigger warning for Aldo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Aldo's holding it and considering whether or not this is going to help. Is it squishy?
Yeah, it's gross. It's like super rotten seeming.
Does it smell?
Yeah, it stinks. It's absolutely it's
I think Aldo can
really
do it.
sickly, sweet, bitter, rotten. Yeah.
He's like, Varric, this is disgusting. Most definitely not natural. Get this out. And I'll just make my roll. Sort of bothered, but motivated enough to roll a 6.
Yeah.
Nice. And the goal of this part. So, what would you say is what's the intended effect?
Sounds like the intended effect is to get a kind of like a pinpoint on their location, and then maybe I
Great.
could take the lead.
Yeah. I think that can be. So we'll count that as another action towards succeeding at the hunt. So let's also put another 2 ticks in the hunters trust you.
Cool.
So we're at 3 now. So anyway, you are able to finish tracking, and you find this large cave built into the a hillside, and there's like sort of like some mist that rolls out of it, and you see at some distance, you are not seen yet but you see something emerge from inside. It is about 13 feet tall,
Oh my gosh.
on all fours. It has tusks. It looks like a boar and a bear. It has like paws, and it is the same like somewhat skeletal, somewhat fabric, hanging guts look as the other Deathlands creatures. So this, and you hear more shots as the fighting is occurring with this creature's other one. It appears that this creature is sort of guarding the entrance of this cave as it's being fought with by Brace and the others.
I found it.
Yeah, you guys can all see it from distance.
Did. Yeah, you did.
Not
Okay.
taking my coat off this time.
Would
Yeah.
be a good idea.
So I think, given the time, this might be our cliffhanger.
Yeah, it
Mhm.
is a
Just-
13-foot tall death boar.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a
it
bear
is.
and a boar
Good.
bore children, and this was a.
Yes. All right.
Oh my
So,
word.
yeah, with that, we will end our penultimate session of the Contraband. Thank
Wow.
you so much for watching, for being here in the chat. So fun, exciting. I'm also seeing Eisweir is checking all of the encyclopedic things that I put in here. I'm realizing I should have put more in these as we've gone. We need a Brace Meroden entry. Anyway, but yeah, thank you all so much for being here tonight. Are we going on a raid or no? I think
Yeah,
let's.
we're gonna raid
Great.
Perception Studio.
Awesome. Yes. Give them your love and enthusiasm. Thank you so much for being here tonight. And we're so excited for the finale next week. It'll be a lot of fun. We'll see what the heck happens. It's going to be wild. Take care, everybody. Have a
Goodbye.
wonderful night. Peace.
Thank you.
Aguba.